Oh my God, that's so cool. That's the first time I've actually watched that video. I've been reading the articles. It's all about that announcement here tonight on Entmoot Live. And we have two very special live guests with us this evening. First of all, returning back for another pop at the Entmoot Live, it's Alex Temple. Greetings, live from the Battle Camper itself with Key the dog.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me back on. You said another pop as if I failed last time, and this is my second chance, and I assume final chance.
Yeah. You only get a few. You only get a few shots, but also back for a second time. Although at a different channel. I was broadcasting live, not just for 1 hour, not just 2 hours, but like 6 hours yesterday evening, and it feels outrageous that I was doing this broadcasting last night on one of the best Middle-earth strategy battle game channels on YouTube, B-Sign. And it feels weird to have been doing that for 6 hours and to have then, within 12 hours got all this news. So it's only right, therefore, we welcome Damien O'Byrne. Hey, there he is.
Hello.
Look at that. What a time to be alive. So
I've missed you.
I know. I've spent more time in this room in the last 24 hours than with my pregnant wife.
Quite.
Thanks
for having me.
No, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on such a day, because it does feel like a pretty exciting day. And I think we were mentioning last night, Damien, that it felt like a few weeks since we'd had a sort of announcement. There was a big flurry of stuff and there was nothing. It was really weird.
Yeah, we were hoping for an article on Thursday, weren't we? So
yeah.
We had something to talk about last night.
Yeah, exactly. But instead, we just talked for 6 hours about no new content, which is fine. But then,
is it?
Yeah. Well, people.
Did you get double figures?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I mean, it's because of Damien. Damien has a whole amazing thing on B-Side.
Charm and charisma.
Charm. Yes, he has that. That's
I think it was like Power Rangers. I think we combined forces and made a Uber nerd.
Exactly. And that's what we're hoping to do tonight. We've got a three-way Uber nerd, which is even better. I mean, obviously, we've seen the video there. There are lots of people. The chat is popping off. The comments are flying in hot and fast. I'll get to them in a second. But first, let's go with initial reactions. Alex, do you want to go first and just give us a sense? I mean, we'll go through everything in like a fine-tooth comb. But initially, that video and the announcement this afternoon, what do you think?
I mean, it's not going to surprise you to know that I was extremely excited about it. I was driving and I got a notification from a friend who just said, new Rohan plastics, new heroes. And I just had to get off the motorway as quickly as I possibly could because my fingers were twitching and I didn't know whether I'd be able to keep my hands off my phone long enough. And I thought I might kill someone. So I pulled over and I was just so excited. I genuinely, it's one of those things. It's like, I never thought I'd live to see the day. I genuinely didn't know whether I'd live to see the day, and the fact that I have is superb. So very excited indeed.
Amazing. I think we'll all echo the safety sentiment there that you had. That you rather than searching while on the motorway, you went and.
I do. In case there are any law enforcement professionals watching, I do hasten to add that I did manage to keep my fingers on the wheel long enough to pull over.
Excellent. Damien, we were talking at length last night about just the sort of the joy of the hobby and so on. And this announcement in the last few hours. I mean, how are you feeling today? What a day!
Oh, it was amazing. What a time to be alive, right? I thought we might get like another hero or something, that would be the next article. I wasn't remotely expecting full box set drop with everything, and it's just awesome. Like first plastics for the game ever to be renewed, I think. Is that right? First
I think so. There's never been a kit that's been updated before, has there? From memory, there've been new kits added. I'm trying to think. There's someone in the. I mean, we've had like resin versions of old metal things, but we've never had a plastic kit updated.
I wasn't driving, but I was with my. I was kind of with my family. I was in the garden room, and I kind of ran into the house and shut myself in a little room. And my wife came in, and Alex is gone.
He's so excited.
And my wife came and found me and was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like a guilty child looking at something, perhaps looking at something from the PSP.
Indeed.
I was like, "There's a new starter set." She was like, "Cook the dinner." And so I've had a quick look, but I haven't fully deep dived because I was like, "Well, we'll do it live."
Absolutely. I honestly, I mean, my initial reaction. Alex, when he appears, will attest to this. He sent me a message saying, "Are you streaming tonight?" And I was like, I don't know. And then I saw that because I'd seen all the other chat messages popping up, preparing for dinner and stuff like that. And sorry, Alex, you dropped off for a sec. But I was just saying that you sent me the initial message, and you said streaming tonight, and I was like, what's going on? And I think it was going to just be like a model, and then no, imagine that, not just a model, but we've got 3 new heroes, and the 2 new plastic sets, and the announcement of the box, which we'll tear into in a second. But assuming everyone who's watching is commenting on majorly that, but I mean, just initial reactions, just drop them in the comments straight away. I'll give a shout out to everyone who's in there at the moment. Grimdark Future was in half an hour early, said hype. Ewing said, so ready for this. Only regret is I will have to contain my enthusiasm in writing. Frederick Schultz says hello there, and he says he's currently work in progress on a broccoli lentil curry. Excellent. Dom Lord is in, really excited for the new stuff. Dom says, Fat Hobbit Gaming says, going to get my food and sit down for the chatting. Ewing, I want to talk about how good the new Rohan shields look. Yeah, we'll get all that stuff in there. Tim Elwer says, quite exciting now. Jamie Alano, excited for new Rohan models and looks like a great start set. Gives me hope for new plastic minis for our older models. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. We got new plastic models now. Everything is possible, says iWing. Benji's in. Evening all must mean new riders are on the way. Again, we'll talk about that, I'm sure. Can't wait for this, says that the stinky, smelly rat. Nathan T, one of them's doing a poo. That was when we started. Grimdark Future says, oh my lord, watching. This is when it all started. There's some excitement here. Tim Elwes says, are they any better than stuff you can already get from Mesbg, etc.? Or we've got some negativity already. Come on, Tim.
From Tim, excited. Of course.
Yeah, from Tim as well. Grumpy old Tim. Harry's tying Wheezy's legs together to get through the stream. Yes, okay, that's not true. Wheezy, who is 5 days to the due date, is downstairs sitting on the sofa.
At least we've got another stream for the drama. It could happen tonight. It could be tonight.
Yeah. We might have to end things suddenly if I get a shout saying. I
love how you say might, as if you might make a call. So I've weighed up the options, and I've decided that continuing to stream is simply better for everyone.
It's like, how far dilated are you? Come on.
Imagine if it's the excitement. What if it's the excitement of the starter set that actually gets her going? Could happen.
Who knows? Anyway, Frederick says an age. You were in just a day ago. Oh yeah, that was about the clip. Let's go, says Adam Harrison. Dem sexy Dunlands. I wants them all. You've been busy, I see. I like how the one Pitchfork Wildman is also almost a one-to-one copy of the old Uruk's sword Wildman sculpt. I'm sure we'll look at that in a sec. Good afternoon, Dank Savannah, says Tim. Ale. Oh wow, the cattle bumper. Hello, woof animal as well. There's lots of people interacting with each other. Frederick Schultz says, Damien, in exclamation marks and capitals. Frederick, big fan of them.
Got a fan.
I wait the Battle Camper groveling apology.
That's my mum.
No, Alex, do you know what this is about? Await the Battle Camper groveling apology. He knows why.
It might well be me not going to Lord of the Imps.
Yeah, I think it will be you Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on from that. Will we get another dice giveaway? No. I just because I haven't got a way to give one away. Damien hasn't actually moved. He hasn't. It's true. What a time indeed. Is this Battle Ensign Stream Moot Earth now live? Hawk Jacobson, if this isn't the perfect weekend, I don't know what is. Oh, wow. We love you, Alex. A stinky, smelly rat. There's loads of comments. Give that dog a pet. Dom Lord says, I can't wait to have a playmat to BH. To be honest, that's good. Dave Walker's, yes, new riders next, hopefully. There's nothing in the box I hate. It's exciting, says Nathan. Battle Camper reporting from Ben Nevis camp. Where are you, did you say?
I'm afraid not. So I've been up Ben Nevis, but I'm now in a much less interesting location. I'm in the Tesco car park in Tedbury. I needed to make sure. Yeah, well, I suppose if you really like medium-sized Tesco car parks, then absolutely this is a banger. But it was more that it's got stable signal, and that's what I really needed to get through the stream tonight.
Absolutely. Frederick says, yes, it should be the first ever plastic to plastic. Good Alex. I don't want you to spend the Patreon money on traffic fines. I think it's spelled. Yeah, fair. Frederick Schultz says he was about to do a PSP joke. RAP Van Internet, that was when you went down. Sean Clark says, I saw the pictures and stopped dead in my tracks on a petrol station forecourt. Catherine thought I'd won loads of money or something.
I bet she was even more pleased to know that it was a new iteration of the Rohan sculpts.
That's worse than Alex. You're not allowed to use your mobile phone on a petrol station forecourt.
Oh, that is true. Yeah,
but for nonsense reasons.
Yeah, that's true. But Catherine was obviously disappointed when she realised it was the opposite and that you were going to spend lots of money in a very soon period. So Frederick Schultz saying we probably got bumped by some cattle. Big up GW, says Brad2749. Welcome on. Want, says Frederick Schultz. I'm so happy we got Haleth and Hama. I don't need to convert them now. Watching 6 minutes behind live, but love Alex from Battle Camper, says Johnny Apocalypse 2. Will there be better models in every army, says Roxon. Jomp Blonkett's in. I need General Targ. Alex casually doxing himself so we can all go and find you in the car park. Tim says, which Tesco car park? And are there any doggers there? You've just said which Tesco car park as well. Hi all, says Tanya T-Born. And Johnny Apocalypse 2 says, I'm currently batch painting 30 Rohan footmen kill me. And finally, that's awful. Nathan says, I was saving Lego Barrador, but that'll have to wait again. Well, Alex do another video similar to his France one. I think he will. Looking forward to the new Dunland stuff, says Tanya T-Boon. So that's finished the comment. So for now, there will be obviously more. But let's get stuck into this stuff. So we'll just go around the houses. So guys, if you're watching and keen to comment, we'll have specific reaction to each of the pictures that I put up first. So as soon as you see something, type your comments to whatever it is you're seeing. So first... I'm going to sort of build up, I think. First, we've got a book. Okay. So, yeah, is that exciting? Are we excited about this?
Of course.
Yeah, that is definitely exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as exciting as the other stuff. But rulebook, the article said 176 pages. Some interesting factoids, or depending on your opinion on interesting. It's down from 220 pages in the current rulebook, although the current rulebook does have 70 pages of like army pictures, and there's the sort of advertising stuff at the back where they tell you to get the match play guide and some army lists and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's kind of, I thought that was kind of intriguing. And obviously we've got a quick reference guide there, which is awesome. I love to see a quick reference guide, and a War of the Rohirrim scenarios and profiles book, which looks really cool. What do we think? First of all, on the size, is that a sign that we're losing some of the nuance of the rules, or is it just a sensible slimming down? Do we think, or is it just lack of pictures?
I don't know. How big did you say it was? How much smaller?
Well, I've got it down as 176 pages. That's what it said on the article, and my one is 223 right to the end, which is Gandalf's. 224 for Gandalf, saying the journey doesn't end here in my new rule book. That's the one with the ring in it. Sorry. Yeah,
got you. Well, there's pages about the supplements, so they'll save them because they'll all be gone.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that's 6 pages saved.
I mean, I'm hopeful of a sort of slimming down of some of the stuff that we don't really need, but hopefully it doesn't mean we're losing too much of the sort of nuance that we know and love in Mesbg. Alex, what do you think?
Well, there's nothing I want to go. I mean, we talked about this last time. I'm perfectly content for there to be rules that are rarely used because, well, they're rarely used, and it's very nice to be in a situation that surprises you because you look up, the reference, and it's something like I said, like swimming with armor on or climbing ladders, things like this, and there is a rule to cover it. I like there to be that kind of scope, and I don't think it adds complexity because if you're really using them, you're really using them. It's when the rules are overwrought, when the core rules, the things you're using all the time, when they're really complicated, that's when it becomes a problem. And that's never been an MESBG issue. So I don't want them to cut anything. That being said, if they decide, we're losing things that no one's ever using, or we decided we're just not going to put siege rules in the main rule book, and maybe they'll come out in a supplement or something like that later, then I'm not going to cry about it. Yeah. But I think it is going to, my view is it is going to be about there's going to be loss of some rules because when you look at the way that they're producing the rule books in other game systems, there's no evidence that Games Workshop is interested in slimming down the artwork and the extra bit of bits of fluff you get in there. So it can only mean, to my eyes, that they're cutting down on the rules, the number of pages, and of course that's something that Games Workshop have been very, very interested in all their systems recently.
Unless of course the thing that we are losing is just all the pictures. I
would doubt that. That would surprise me. So
178 still gets you all of the rules and 20 pages of pictures. Like if you look at what's after 178, it's like other people's armies and some photos and models.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be massively slim. We're losing things like special strikes. That'll save you like 4 pages, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't think. I don't know. I'm not worried about. I don't think there's a worry there for the rules.
We're probably looking very much too much into the page count of the book and spending probably far too much time on it.
More importantly, then Harry, sorry to interrupt.
No,
but do you promise to answer this question transparently and openly?
Go on. Yeah.
When we started this stream, you were top left where Damien is now. Did you swap? did you swap yours and Damien's faces over so that he was covered up by the Entmoot word and you weren't?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. I appreciate the transparency there.
It's because there's a lot more headroom on Damien's camera.
Forehead.
Your house, your rules, man.
So
your prerogative.
Exactly. Thank you, Damien. You're very kind to say so. But yeah, that is exactly the reason, and well noticed, Alex.
It was very slyly done.
It was. Thank you. Tanya says new rule book. So yeah. Brad says love nice new smelly book. Hate PDFs. Stinky Smelly Rat says, are they to scale for MESBG? That's probably not about books. Build a pony on the rules book cover. What more do we need? Yeah, you know what? I thought that was actually an interesting choice. They've got the Fellowship of the Ring walking over the hill on the front of the new rule book, not something from War of the Rohirrim, which
it's good.
Maybe this is tinfoil hat time, but is that because they were already designing the rule book, do you think? Or do you think they just wanted to capture the most iconic Lord of the Rings thing on the front page of the book?
I think it's come on.
Exactly the same with Damien. I thought they were I thought if I was in their position, I'd be like, look, lots of people are going to be worried about this becoming, overly War of the Rohirrim. We want to make it very plain that that's the box set, but that the game is still the very broad, encapsulating the whole breadth of what MSBG has been, and this is what does that.
Good point.
And it's also still called, I can't see it in front of me at the moment. I haven't got the web browser up, but it's still called like the Middle-earth strategy battle game.
It is still
the rule book doesn't have any War of the Rohirrim stuff on, and the rule book will be sold separately.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Go on.
Is this the first time an edition has changed and they haven't changed the name of the game?
No.
It depends whether you consider.
It is.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
It was the Fellowship strategy battle game, Two Towers strategy battle game, Return of the King strategy battle game, then Lord of the Rings, then The Hobbit, then Middle Earth. So yeah, it's a good one.
Interesting.
It's another good factoid there. Well spotted. I do like a good quick reference guide. I must admit, I do.
Is there anything on it?
Can we see anything in it? So it says start of the move phase, declare heroic actions. Don't know what that is. Player with priorities. It's a not move phase. It's art activities phase. That might be
activation.
Phase. It does look like activation phase, yeah. And then without priorities activation phase, then end of move phase. And then there's an activation phase on the top right. Start of activation, start of move, and then end of move, and then end of activation. So maybe it's just clarifying. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is intriguing.
So in some of the other games, I know what they've done is they've subdivided the phases into sub-phases. So you have like in moving, you've got abilities phase, and any move based abilities might go off, and then you've got the moves, and then you've got any kind of resolutions to do at the end. So perhaps they just said they're doing all that, to clarify heroics at the beginning, etc.
I was going to say it could just be simply putting a name on. You activate said model. While it's activated, it may do magic, and then it finishes its move, and then you move on from another model, which would help clarify that sort of confusion of, if you've moved a model and then going back to it and trying to, which makes it very clear. That could be a good change. And
could be special rules that are like at the start of a model's activation or something, that rather than in the move phase, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Might, clarify where these things take place.
Absolutely, yeah. It's that's really cool though. Well spotted. Let's see what other people say. Hope it's mostly cutting gallery stuff, etc., not actual rules. Says Frederick. Usable, says says Stinky Rat. I assume about the quick reference guide. Good enough for me. Says the book. Build a penny back in stock. Larry will be pleased. Says Brad 2749. Oh Lord, no. The main rules need siege rules. Even more clarification. But like we said, it could be just pictures being cut.
They could go. I don't think they were in the Hobbit version. Am I remembering that right?
I don't think they're even in the. I think there's a page of siege rules, but there's not. It's all the most of it is in War and Rohirrim, isn't it?
The current thing. Yeah.
So there are some stuff in there. But Josh Cole says, "Evening guys, those Rohan infantry look fantastic. I've never really wanted to start Rohan, but this is tempting me. Praying this will lead to some high elf troops one day. I think we'll get on that in a little bit when they come up. Worth the price, even if you don't use it for MESBG. We might see less film shots and army galleries. The army books will likely have galleries too," says Nathan. New rules will also add sections on intelligence rules. That's true. Damien got moved due to his comments on the Entmoot podcast, or perhaps Harry saw him signing to Michael Haskell. Yes, I did see. I like the cover pick, says Frederick. It's iconic. Last they talked about a lot about capturing movie scenes. That's true. Gollum's Gamer says the fact these aren't called emergency live streams saddens me greatly. Evening, Gollum's Gamers. I assume that's Elliot. I saw Elliot. He got his emergency pod out earlier. I managed to get 15 minutes through it before we had to get ready in here, so I haven't watched it all. But well done in getting them out so quick. Paging Dr. Beat. Don't know what that means. So hyped for the models, haven't even looked at the images of the books, etc.
That's a Generation X reference. You've got to be up to speed on these things if you're going to
What is Paging Dr. Beat?
It's a bit of music that appears in a lot of TikToks, Harry. That's a sort of website where they have it's a bit like YouTube, but all the videos are really short and they do these funny dances on it.
Or is it like Vine? Is it like Vine?
Oh wow! No, so Vine actually it's not here anymore. It was very sad times. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought that was still talking about.
No. And in Paging Dr. Beat, it repeatedly uses the word emergency. So I think it's a reference to the emergency live stream.
Thank you very much.
Harry being mocked for his age. That's novel.
just more for the fact that he's more for the fact that he's woefully out of touch now.
That's true. What else have we got? Alex says, should do an Irish trip at some point, help you paint the Rohan army. Yeah, I'm sure you could. Art is really nice for the Battle of Edoras. Yeah, actually, that is true. The book, the sort of artwork on the scenarios and profiles thing looks really, really cool.
I'm a bit more excited about that book.
Yeah, I agree at the moment. Did
I hear that was 48 pages? Is that what
that's quite a lot. That'll be profiles.
Am I remembering that right? I don't know.
You may well be. Let me have a look. There's I can't find it here.
That feels longer than the starter books we've had.
I can't see the word 48, but you may well have.
I thought you said that. Maybe
I didn't say that, so I don't know. But let's just quickly nip through something before we move on to something else. Edging until the new edition of okay, yeah. Yeah, sorry. Is anyone edging? Anyone else edging until the new edition of MESBG arrives? I've reached a new level of clarity.
I too like Blink-182. Yeah,
says tentacles, which is intriguing. There you go. Battle Camper does thirst trap. MESBG painting TikTok says tentacles. So there you go. I don't know what a thirst trap is. Tentacles. So
of course you don't.
I know what a thirst trap is. I know that one.
There you go.
Go on, Damien. Explain it to the class.
Yeah.
Well, I'm now going to embarrass myself with my exact use of the terminology, but I believe a thirst trap would be something designed to create feelings of sexual arousal.
Yeah. Sounds good. It's what Alex does with it with all of his Battle Camper videos. I assume.
Absolutely. I like the one where he picked up poo and gagged.
Yes, I like related. Yeah.
I like the idea. Just simply the concept that I could be, a sexual being is the punchline. It doesn't require elaboration beyond that.
No, we don't. We got it already. Well, there you go. So that's cool. So now again, this is very short. This one we have lots to get through. But this one, so we've been announced that we're going to have a board. I think this is the first time we've been announced that we're going to have a board in a Middle Earth thing. So we've got a 3x3 double-sided playmat. We also get some Rohan houses in this big box alongside. I mean, my first instinct was, why is it 3x3 and not by 4x4? Is that a change of the? I don't know. Are there going to be more games that are going to be 3x3, or is this just how it's standard?
No, I don't think so. I think so. So again, this is something that seems to have come across from other game systems where they just try and release. I mean, bear in mind that other systems, the boxes have been. A game in a box, not just the basis for starting MESBG or whatever system. And so there'll be scenarios, I expect, in the book specifically designed to get people playing that will have been written to work on a 3x3 mat. And I expect it's just because they don't want to put a 4x4 in there, and because all those scenarios will work specifically with the models in the box, and therefore you're not going to need a bigger.
Are the other mats 3x3, like the whatever they are, the Kill Team or the 40k ones? Are they just 3x3? I just assume they had that like design or that thing ready to go and have just put a different
maybe they just printed some grassy Rohan style terrain on it. It could
paper, isn't it?
I assume it's a bit like one of those fold out cardboard things, although it isn't fold out cardboard, is it? Because it is a play mat. It sounds like
3x3 paper play mat.
I mean it looks quite flat on this picture. I mean, I know paper is quite flat usually. I mean is it doesn't have folds in it or anything like that.
Not as flat as
I get the feeling
characters though, is it? They're really flat.
Yeah. Anyway. So that's the only thing I thought about this one. Is it seems like a weird inclusion, but I guess it's for new players who haven't got a board or
makes it look pretty, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And I quite like it. It's not going to be of any value to me, but to be able to say this is a complete game in a box, and for people coming in to buy, it's like, where do I start? And someone can say, we should start with the start set. It is everything you need, and the game will look quite nice.
Josh Cole says this news broke the edging streak. Not gonna lie, and Grimdorp Future says I'm learning so much tonight. Tentacle says my condolences, Josh. Alex says hoping for naval battle rules in the new rulebook. Very good. Tentacles thoughts on it being 3x3. I'm glad you asked. Also measuring sticks, says Frederick Schultz.
Whippy sticks.
Whippy sticks. Indeed.
They're not whippy. They're hard plastic.
Yeah.
They're the ones from The Hobbit, I think.
Oh, not interested then.
Yeah, no whipping with those.
Yeah, they look quite hard. Yeah, they look.
They're the Escape from Goblin Town ones, I think.
They are. They look the same. Yeah. Tim says, "How much are we thinking? 120 quid? He reckons? I think it'll be more than that personally, but we'll chat on that in a minute. Key is eyeing up a dinner. Almost certainly dictated by how many folds to fit in a box. Yes, that's a good point. Frederick Schultz says dinner table size starter boxes, 3x3 made of paper, just a beginner thing. How much of the film do you think the designers have seen? A lot. I have a very expensive, fully flocked custom 4x4 board. I'll cry if they move to 3x3, says Tentacles. Not many bows in the box, so 3x3 is fine, says Tim. Alex should do a trip to New Zealand and paint the new box. Yeah. Please request for Alex is just keep them coming in, because Alex needs to. He needs it. He needs all that ideas. 40k is 60 by 44. What is 60 by 44? That feels like a weird measurement.
40k has been all over the place, though, right?
Yeah, that's not even 6x4, is it? That's
no.
Is that inches?
It's changed. Yeah.
Is that inches? So like nearly 6x4 foot. Is that right?
Yeah, but not. But that's what I mean. It's not 6 by 4 foot. That'd be 66 by 44. That's weird.
It's 5, isn't it? It's 5 foot by nearly 4 foot.
Yeah. Really balanced starter set, says Tanya. I think that's true. What else we got? And then we got some people talking about the strongholds. And Rob Alderman said the 3x3 is just for the box and not indicative of an overall change. Chico Carino says, I assume he's seen Rob commenting on social media. I apologies, I haven't popped every comment up on the screen or mentioned them all, but we will get to everything as we work our way through. So, there's another picture of the board, by the way. That's hinting at some of the models. But I think we've edged long enough on the on all the other stuff. So I think we need to have a look at some miniatures, and I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with the big one, I guess. It's the Rohan guys, the Warriors of the Rohan. Woo! Look at these guys. I mean, we saw them in the opening video there, but this is ace.
Harry, do you know what's better than clapping?
Oh, you're not going to do it just for us,
I think it's the first plastic models, right?
Yeah, first plastic models in a long time.
There we go.
It worked. In fact, I think the volume cut out, so we didn't hear the bang.
No,
but either way, I'm jealous. I can smell it now.
So good.
Excellent. Top stuff. So, I mean, my initial reaction to this is we've got some heftier looking guys. They look chunkier. They look less sort of weedy. They look more detailed. The shields look incredible. The Rohan, the horses kind of eating each other, and the shields, they're awesome. There's a wood kind of grain on some of the shields as well. There's edging around each of the leather panels on the that
really
armor.
is word of the night, isn't it?
Edging. Oh yeah, I didn't pick up on that. There's a new kind of horse at the back, the top left, on the shield. That's really cool. And that guy sort of fighting over the shield, looking like a kind of Anglo-Saxon warrior in a shield wall, is awesome. Really like that. And the bows. There's guys with actual arrows attached to the bows. Not in the way that they look like on the current ones, but they look like actual arrows, rather than just sort of little stumps. But what I think I liked most was that they feel very, very similar in the sense that they've still got the similar pose. They've still got that Lord of the Rings aesthetic. I'm in love with these. Damien, as a veteran of the game, how do you feel about this? You've been around since the start and seen a lot of those guys.
I mean, I think they're gorgeous. I actually think I think you said chunkier. I was pleasantly surprised by how not chunky they look. I know some people have said the new plastic heroes look a bit beefier, whereas these look very, very much in keeping with Mesbg, I think.
I think when I say chunkier, I think I don't know. They just look like they have more gravitas. They don't look as sort of floaty and fake. I don't know. They just look more realistic.
You can see the same poses though.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but some of them are literally the pose we have, but like 25 years later and so much better, aren't they?
Yeah.
The archer down the front, one in.
Yeah.
next to the guy who sadly lost his leg. We've got him already. And that kind of pose, and the archer next to him, but they're just so they'll fit in with your collection.
They will.
Which I think is really, really important.
I was going to say, do you think? I mean, they look like they'll be a bit bigger though, a bit taller than the current ones.
You think maybe? It's hard to tell without the context,
it is because they're only but they look awesome. I mean, Alex, you've long been excited and mentioned a couple of times on the stream about new riders of Rohan, new Royal Guard in particular. I mean, this must have made you very, very excitable.
Yeah, wow. While driving, no, it wasn't driving. What is there to say? I mean, I've wanted new Rohan for such a long time, as we've talked about repeatedly on these streams. I'm not someone who came to it was at this game from the beginning. I came to it late, and I don't harbor the same nostalgia that other people have for the older sculpts. I tolerate the sculpts in this game in order to play a rule set that I love and a setting that I love. I don't celebrate the older sculpts particularly, and sometimes I get really sick of looking at them. So the fact that my favorite faction in the game has been the first out the gates with these updated sculpts is just absolutely fantastic. The fact that there's that one Rohan archer sculpt in the current lot whose arm is going over his back, I think, to get a arrow from his quiver, and because of the old molding techniques, he doesn't have a hand or fingers. His arm becomes a sausage that just becomes the fletchings on the arrows. Yeah. And if you want to turn it back into an arm and hand, you've got to paint the fingers back in. Yeah. I would just very much, as Damien, you said, it's not like they've really tried anything risky with the poses and done anything, dramatically departed. And that's fantastic. That's great. We don't need anything like that. We just need the charm and posture that was there, but with modern technology and some really, detailed and skilled rendering. And that's what they've done. They've done just an absolutely fabulous job. There's not, I don't have a bad thing to say.
It kills any fear that they're going to look like anime, right?
Yes.
They like, I know there was a few people, even with Wolf, going, "Oh, his mouth, he's got an anime mouth," whatever the hell that is. But like, in here, they could have just released those without War of the Rohirrim, right? And people have gone,
never know.
They're just brand new Warriors of Rohan. So
I think they mentioned in the article on Warcom that they'd specifically made them so that they fit nicely in with your old models. So I think the wording is, if you already have a Rohirrim army for Middle Earth strategy battle game, then these will make perfect reinforcements. Which
they're
is
actually probably the bit I'm least interested in, because I've got about 36 painters.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but. I think part of me is totally agrees with you, but the other part is like, these just look so good that I will really want to play. I think
there's some joy. Oh, sorry, Harry.
No, I was I'm just literally going to say I like that there are a couple. You mentioned, Damien, that there are some sculpts that look like they're the same poses as the old one, which is nice. But I like that there are new poses as well. Bottom right, top left, second from the right on the top left as well. They look. Actually, I think that's the same one, isn't it? But yeah, they're really nice. There's just a few cool dynamic moving ones as well, which is awesome.
And I expect two things actually, very briefly. I expect we're going to get a few swaps as well that we've never been able to have with the older Middle Earth kits. So, arms and heads, that's how GW normally operates with the modern kits, so that we can get some diversity and you won't have carbon copy repeats like you used to. The second thing I'd say, for anyone who's got like, well, that's great and everything, but I've got a whole bunch of Rohan already. I'm actually, for the first time ever in my life, for the first time ever in my life, my current painting project I'm on at the moment is a complete conscious restart of an army that I've already painted. I've never done that before. Decided, I really enjoyed painting this army the first time. I'm better than I was now. I've learned new techniques. I'm going to try it again and just do it from scratch. New basing and new techniques, a few new color combos and things like that. And I'm absolutely loving it. I'm having a blast. It's great to revisit old sculpts without having. There's no need to tie them in with my old miniatures because I don't anticipate running them together. I'm starting again, and maybe that's an opportunity to do that and see how you've kind of developed and basically get a new Rohan army.
Well played there, Damien. I saw that. Clear the backlog. Very good. So quickly, before we get into the comments from people of the Warriors of the Rohan, as I said earlier, I'm just very excited for Warriors of the Rohan. What do we think about the price of this box? I mean, I was going to leave that till later, but a few people have mentioned it already. I mean, because my initial instinct was it's going to be way more expensive than the current box, but I don't know by how much. I would guess in the 150 quid mark area.
I think, yeah.
With all these new plastics.
So the new Kill Team box, which is out this weekend, is £145. And bear in mind, so that's got probably, it's fair to say, more terrain than this than the upcoming MSBG box, but not by a huge amount. We do still have 2 Rohan House kits in there, and then it has vastly fewer new plastics. It's got the 2 Kill Teams, which are like 8, 9, 10 models a piece, and that's the whole thing. That's 145
and I imagine
quid.
the book's smaller as well.
No, I don't. Necromunda's pretty chunk. Oh, Kill Team actually. I'm getting confused. Maybe, yeah, maybe. Actually, it's a very good point. Yeah, maybe.
I may be wrong about that, but that's my
I don't know. You might well be right.
What do you think, Damien? What sort of price mark are we looking at, do you think?
I don't know. What's Osgiliath, 120 quid?
Yeah, about that. I think it might have gone up a little bit since then, though.
I would be. I don't know. The starter boxes for Middle Earth have always been very, very competitively priced. Even if you look at Pelennor and Osgiliath, they've been very, very competitive, and I think they'll still want to keep that. The houses, I don't know quite how this works, but the houses must be paid for. They're not new scenery. They've been around for a while, so I don't know. I know it's a lot of new plastic, but I still expect that to be a pretty compelling deal. When it comes out, given that you'll get a hardback book and you'll get all the new plastics. And it just depends what people think is worthwhile, because they were able to give away so much stuff in the last 2 starter boxes because they didn't really have to pay for those sprues anymore.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to rein in our expectations a little bit.
I think that's exactly what we've got to do. Yeah, I think that's absolutely true.
But I still think it'll be very competitive. I don't think it'll be more than 150.
No, I'd like to think 150 is a fair. I mean, I'm looking at the Osgiliath box now, 130 quid. That's got 54 models as well, but also I think we said 56 for this new one, which are all new plastics. That only had the new Faramir Madril and Damrod and Gothmog. It had 4 new at the time Osgiliath ruins, I think, or sort of two ruin sets to make 4 sort of buildings. So I think we got some good stuff in that box set, but I do think we're getting significantly more new stuff here. 130 seems good value, and very good value for what we'd be getting. So I think it's probably not going to be as good value as that 150, maybe more. But yeah, I'm quite happy. I mean, I'd be quite happy to pay that.
It'll still be cheaper than buying it any other way, won't it? Like it'll still.
Oh yeah, 1%.
It'll still be. I reckon you'll still get a very, very good discount. You'll probably get like about a third off, and it's obviously whether or not you think Games Workshop models are worth it, yada yada yada. But I reckon you'll get at least a third off buying the book and buying 2 houses and buying all the models.
And of course, most people won't be paying the RRP. I mean, we usually go to places like your local gaming store that have 10%, 20% off potentially. Certainly for this big box. I know 7th City Collectibles last time for the Osgiliath box set did, I think, 20% off or thereabouts. And you can click on the link below and buy your toys there with 7th City Collectibles. And
oh my god! Oh, I knew that was coming. The second you start to talk about
7th City. But yeah, it's true. But there you go. That's interesting. So let's move. So we've got Tim L was saying 120 quid. I think that's definitely not going to happen. It'll be more than the current box, definitely. Brad says £200. He reckons. I think that's unlikely, but
I mean, the new 40k, the latest 40k box was 200 quid, and that's that was a lot more models, and also it's 40k, which is always more expensive. I reckon 150 is a good shout. And personally, I'd pay that.
So Pete's in. He says, "Are they on 32s? The bases look big, but could be my crazy eyes." I assume talking about the Rohan. I don't think so. I think they look like 25s, don't they? I can't see them changing something so dramatic as that between editions.
They won't change that. Hill Trolls now. Hill Trolls.
They may well be.
They'll be. I can't believe that they would do that.
They look like it, like the 25s to me, but maybe it's your eyes. What is this? The guy with his sword poking out over the shield is my favourite Postman model. I make that 3 in the range. I bet they're all great. And they're all great. So he says, Irex, welcome in Irex.
What's I make that 3 in the range mean?
I assume that he's talking about that one, Ingold, and someone else who's poking a shield over.
Oh, right. It's the dwarf, Droll, and
yeah, that'll be it. There you go. 3 in the thing. Good stuff. What else have we got? I've got all this. The chat's just jumped. Oh god, where's it gone? So we've got. Oh, here we go. So they're going to be fun to paint, says Nathan. How does Alex feel about the mix of running and standing poses?
I thought that was coming.
This is a good one. Yeah, so because you said something about this before where you like one or the other, don't you? And some of these people are running as if going into battle. Some are standing still, and some as if on sentry, and some are, kind of halfway house.
I wouldn't. I think this, just for the context of the listeners, what Nathan is referring to there is the podcast, Cast It Into the Fire, where we have to try and choose things that we don't like about particular aspects of wargaming in order to have them cast into the fire. Yeah. And the problem is sometimes we say things, and then immediately after we finish recording, we're like, what a stupid hill to die on, or what a crap take that was. And that might well have been a crap take. I wouldn't listen. I mean, generally in life, I wouldn't listen to anything that I say with any kind of sense of seriousness, but particularly if you hear it on the podcast. So I don't stand by it.
Fair enough. So he's retracting his statement.
He's retracting it. I love it.
Yeah. You heard it here Heard it here first. Excellent. Well said, Alex, regarding the updating the sculpts in the modern age. Yeah.
And in the modern age as well, congrats to Alex for stepping back on something rather than screaming about it louder and louder.
If John was here, I might have stood my ground, because conceding something to him is simply anathema to me, but he's not. So
Josh Cole says, totally agree with Alex on the sculpts. I think it's also really important for new players that have been used to AOS and 40k plastic quality trying to get into the game as well. Yeah, I think it is a lot easier for those people to come in. Frederick says he already has 40 Wildmen, but still wants new stuff. Johnny says, now I have to paint so many more Rohirrim. Tanya says, yeah, the Wildmen look great. We haven't got to them yet, but we will. Some people are starting talking about Wildmen, so maybe we should just look at the Wildmen. Let's do that. Here we go. So we've had the Rohan Warriors, and I actually think, controversial statement, that these are better.
Yeah,
I think these are really, really lovely models. The Wildmen of Dunland. We've got some running there. We've got lots of fur. We've got some flaming brands. We've got axes and spears by the look of it, and shields. So yeah, these are really, really cool. And just to read the wording from the thing, it says there are different weapon options for many of the models, so your force can be as varied as it is deadly, which I like the sound of. So that's a little bit of a hint at them being interchangeable, which you didn't say about the Rohan. I know you said, Alex, that you think the Rohan warriors are likely to have different, be able to put different heads on and stuff like that. It didn't say that about the Rohan, so I wonder whether the Rohan are a bit more fixed, but these definitely sound.
I expect. I mean, I suppose what I was saying is, even if you get a set complement of weapons, I expect you'll be able to do swaps.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Probably. I don't. I mean, if you've got enough creativity, I'm sure you could do anything with them. To be frank, but I mean, what are your thoughts here on these while you're talking, Alex?
I mean, they're wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful. Nothing is as good as the Rohan model, so I fundamentally disagree with you there. But that's only because I love Rohan, and you know, I'm ready to destroy Dunland and push the tribes back into the hills. I expect there's going to be a few Isengard players who want those flaming brands for their bomb teams, so I might be chopping some hands off. But obviously, they do look fantastic. They look absolutely. They're spot on. They've hit the nail on the head. I mean, I expect personally to be getting the set and splitting it with someone who wants the Dunland, so I can take the Rohan. I don't actually have any interest in adding a Dunland force to my Isengard at the moment. Although actually, I've just said that, and now I think I'm disagreeing with myself in real time. So I think I forgot for a second that I forgot that I had an Isengard army, and then and then I was like, you got Isengard, and they look lovely. So I retract that. I'll be buying the set, and I'll be keeping the whole thing.
Damien, what do you think?
I think these are absolutely stunning. I'll go the other way in the spirit of disagreement and controversy and clicks and such. I think these are better than the Rohirrim.
I'd agree with that.
Absolutely stunning. Oh, can we swear?
Yeah, we can swear.
Yeah, brilliant. Hey, I'm never allowed to swear. Amazing, wonderful.
I think it's just something, because I mean the existing metals are okay, but they've got such dynamism, and the fur, the detail on the fur. You can even see there's one guy who's got like a monobrow, which is awesome, or like really big bushy eyebrows, which is just ace. And
what a superb sentence. There's a guy with a monobrow, which is awesome. I just think out of context.
But again, they look kind of slight to me. They look like MESBG models, not the slightly bulkier Scale Creep one. Yeah, and I've got no Dunland and I've got no Wildmen. I've never had any interest in that force whatsoever, and I can't tell you how excited I am about doing them now. I want to do Wolf and I want to do them. Me and Tom have already sorted it. We're going to be world exclusive. We're going to do a magazine about it next year. Brilliant. We're going to split the box. God. He's going to do Rohan. I'm going to do Wildmen, and I was excited when I saw Wolf, and when I saw them today, I was like, they are amazing.
Yeah,
I think they're brilliant.
For people who don't know, Damien's referring to SBG magazine. So we've all now got our plugs in for our SBG magazine, which is fantastic. And actually, I am giving one away in the current episode of Entmoot. In fact, it's that one.
Is it this one?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So listen.
Why is it not very good?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, because Tom and Damien are so lovely. Tom and Damien are so lovely. They've given me one. All right, let's cool down. We don't want any the swearing copyright strikes and whatever. But yeah, no, I'm giving one away. So check out the latest Entmoot, and you'll be able to enter a competition for that, which ends next Saturday. So yeah, so we've had the Dunland, we've had the things. Yeah, let's have a look. Sausage Arm Rohan is real. I've painted 5 of them today.
I feel for you. My condolences.
Tim's wondering what the FLGS discount will be. I mean, I think it's often 10 to 15. It's if not 20% sometimes.
You get to 20 at Goblin and Elements.
Yeah, exactly. Thranit says, I don't think GW figures in that they've paid for their sprues. I think they're looking at capturing an entire new audience with the new movie and pricing accordingly with their other games. Yeah. I think that I agree. I don't think they ever going to go, well, we've had this sprue for 20 years, so we'll knock down the price of that one because we've already made our money off it. That's clearly not how they would work.
What I meant by that is when you look at the Pelena set and the Skillia set, they were huge discounts, like massive discounts.
In terms of the number of stuff you had, yeah.
And so it's like they're obviously like, well, we can afford to lose a bit more on this because we're using old stuff. That's what I mean by
Yeah. Tanya says, whatever price it is, I'll end up getting it. I think I agree. I mean, I'm certainly good because we're going to want the rule book. The rule book won't be available separately for a while anyway. You get 2 Rohan buildings in it, which I think is always handy, certainly for someone like me who runs tournaments. And then the models are so nice that I'm gonna want them. So Frederick says shill, and that is me. Nathan says I'd accept 130 to 150 pounds. I think price bumps will be more profound on individual releases. That's true. Tim says 150 pounds less 20% brings it out at what he expects of his 120 pounds, which is true. Cool to see they've even kept the 24 warrior sets, the 2x12s. Would be crazy if they changed the base size. Yeah, I agree. Khan Durm are already 3 standing 3 action stance. I don't know what that means.
It's 3 still, 3 running.
Oh, I see. I get you. Yes. Oh, okay. Murin, there's 4 then. There's also a Foot's One Night, says Irex. That is true.
How did you forget Murin, Irex?
Yeah, exactly.
I believe he's in an upcoming army.
Stinky Smelly Rats talking about you playing Star Wars, and when will you ever win a game, Alex?
Probably not.
No. Everything is a lie, says iWing. I don't know what that's in reference to. I don't care how much. Take my money. The box will be great value against its individual parts that I will only want to buy anyway. Okay, fair enough. Those are insane. New army on the horizon. I don't know what Stinky Smelly Rat's on. He seems to be talking about something completely different to the rest of us. You did not talk enough about the Rohan shield. I mean, I did mention it in my first thing, and I do genuinely think that they are incredible. There are some of the ones in the top left which just look insanely good. I don't know where they are now, but
we can go and talk more about the Rohan shields if you like.
Yeah, we can talk about Rohan shields.
I think. Sorry, they do. And if you painted the warrior set or the riders set, and then you painted Durnhelm or Hama, you know how different an experience that is, because the completely flat-fronted shields on the riders are really difficult to make and look good, hard to make them pop, and definitely hard to make them look like they're made out of wood. And then you go and paint Durnhelm, you've got the sort of chipped and carved wood, and you've got the shapes and stuff, and it's just such a much more joyful experience. I think it's always been one of the weaker parts of the old Rohan models, and
I mean, part of me thinks this that's true, but also it's going to take a lot longer to paint them. They're so much more detailed, and that is such.
Careful what you wish for, otherwise you have pale warriors, and you're painting details for the rest of your life.
Yeah. But I think that's a good. It's not necessarily a bad thing. This is my point of view. Is yes, it probably will take longer to paint them, but even if you decided to paint them more quickly, they're still going to look better than the same amount of time for one of the older sculpts, because they're going to take the washes much more easily. You're going to get the contrast much more easily. If you wanted to use contrast paints, it's going to take these models much better than it will than the older models, which have shallower detail. But also, you're going to want to spend more time with them because they look fantastic. I don't think it's going to be out of necessity. I think it's because you're going to be like, I can make these look so much better than I used to be able to make the old models look, and you're going to enjoy painting them.
Johnny Apocalypse says, hot take, I don't like the running models. They look dumb in a siege or in a combat. So kind of agreeing with you before you disagreed with yourself, Alex. I think the Rohan look like they're one-piece sculpts. The Wildmen don't. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, actually. I do think that they look like the ones that are going to sort of... No, they look like they're going to sort of splice together in some way to me.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily a problem, but
we could obviously do head swaps and arm swaps, but I don't think they're separate. I don't think there's going to be body. Put these 3 bits on this one or anything like that.
I mean, maybe they'll be in. I can't see them very well. I've only got my phone. I've not been able to look at them on a computer. They'll definitely. I mean, you'll certainly get, I think, heads. Be able to put the heads have you like. I don't think they're going to come like old MESBG models do. Yeah. I don't know if Damien's smiling at me saying you're going to be able to get head, but I just think
I'm happy to if you can get head, but I'm saying I don't think that's true.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
When you look at the way they're on the cloaks and they got the hair and stuff.
The cloak. That's very true. Actually, it's a really good point. Heads and cloaks always make the models more static, and that always makes it much more difficult for them to make them posable and interchangeable.
And the way they do them a lot these days is they have those little face bits that are separate as well, and the detail on the face looks quite good. So I wonder if it's going to be like a little Rohan, a Theoden or a AMR where they've got the tiny faces. But that feels like almost that's too detailed for a warrior. But I don't know. I'm excited to see how they look. It's going to be good. And we should probably look at, just reflect on the fact that it is the first new MESBG plastic models since 2013. I did look this up earlier. February 2013, we got Knights of Rivendell and Dwarf Grimhammers, which were the last plastic troops for the game. I think the Goblin King came out around then as well. That was a separate Goblin King as well.
There was some later than that. They all came out later than that.
Oh, okay. Well, according to so I was looking at a thing on the internet which probably hasn't been updated.
We got the Mirkwood Rangers and the Palace Guards like a year later. But,
okay. Well,
but they were done. They were done for the first release when it was only 2 films.
Right.
So they were just held back. So
it's about a decade since the last new models, which is still incredible, isn't it? To think that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's awesome. It's brilliant. It's great.
Yeah, it's exciting. Grimdut says, seems weird they'd mix like that in one box, so maybe not. So he's disagreeing with himself about the sculpt. So who knows? Any of you guys going to take part in Orktober? I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is?
It's like a month where you paint orcs, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I might paint some orcs. Thanks. Brad says, as much as I like the Rohan set, come on, the Dunland boys. Yes, I agree. I like Dunland. Frederick says, I'll take your Dunland. Cattle bumper video idea, painting wildmen with a group of forest hermits / homeless people. iWing says, they have really caught the wild desperation and sense of justified revenge in these new models. They tell the part of the tragedy of Dunland. Yeah, I think that's a really eloquently put comment. All the Dunland torches are going to be stolen by my Watchers of Karna. If the wild men resist, then the Watchers will just slaughter them all and take them anyway. I've got no Dunland, says the guy who has all the Crabane. Josh Crosby says, I'd prefer it if you didn't needlessly swear my cat is watching this. I just started mentioning a cat.
His name's not Winston, is it, by any chance?
No, I don't know. That's a good question. Well said, Damien. Can't wait for that new magazine about SPG, I assume.
Sounds good.
Copywritten? Johnny Apocalypse says something about copywritten? Question mark? I don't know what that is. It might be. I can't remember what I was saying. I mean, I was already an MESBG hype anyway, and this has reinvigorated my love for this. I'll definitely be picking up the set, says Fat Hobbit Gaming. Alex needs to backtrack again because he can use the Dunland to base the Rohan.
No, never. No, not on that point. I will die on that hill. I will never have. Look,
go on. Nick.
He's talking. He's making a mocking comment about my absolute loathing for having bases that tie models into a particular battle. Yeah. No, tactical rocks I'm all right with as long as they're unobtrusive. It's like having
it's a shield, isn't it? It's a shield.
Yeah, dead bodies and shields and helmets and weapons and stuff from one army on another army's bases. So like the dead Rohan on the Mummox base and things like that.
It's the Glathrim shield on the Fell Beast, which is
that is a very weird one.
That's the worst one.
Johnny Apocalypse says, when is Rivendell Last Alliance going to get some love? I mean, we can keep dreaming, can't we? But I think that's well and truly on the shelf.
Sometime in the future.
Yeah. When do we think the release date will be? Well, I'm glad you asked this because I took the liberty of finding this poster, which also came out at a very similar announcement earlier on today. Which,
I haven't seen this.
So hold on, let me just I've got the comment on the screen.
I think the film is December 13th, isn't it?
Yes, that is exactly what the film says. This poster says, which I think we knew about vaguely, but I wasn't sure. So it says, I've got the ticker was straight in the way. But this is a new poster, I believe.
That's cool.
Which is awesome. It's got Hera. Is it Hera or?
Yeah, that's Hera in the front.
Hera in the front and Helm at the top left, I assume, and then Wolf in the top right. Helm's Deep in the background, sorry, and then some riders Rohan, which is cool. And I think this is an indefinite that I think we had that release date announced a while ago, December the 13th, but that's definitely confirming it. That came out today for the Hobbit Day, which is why they released all this other stuff. However many years since the Hobbit book was written and or released, sorry. And I think it's likely to be that weekend, if not the weekend before. I don't know what you guys think about release dates. I mean, it's hard to predict this sort of thing, but I think
it'll be before. It doesn't. What happened in the past doesn't matter in the slightest. But I think Fellowship, the Lord of the Rings, definitely came out almost like a month before the film.
Yeah,
I
agree.
think the Hobbit was like a week before. I think they get the like merchandise embargoes. They can release them before the films. I think
that was certainly the case with other stuff. And the fact that they're releasing a lot of build up, it implies that you would want to pick up the box and go, oh, this is exciting before the film comes out. Which but who knows? They might be more strict on it.
They can show it, right? That's the other big difference. You never know with these things that now. Clearly, they're allowed to show off their designs, so that almost like that poster's come out, for example. So there's obviously, I think maybe today being that Hobbit Day thing, there might be another embargo. You might suddenly start to see other tie-in books and stuff appear because they're now allowed to show X things. Or whatever.
Until now, you've only been allowed to see everything that's been in the trailer and this, and you've had certain agreements for it. Yeah, but I think the start of December would be a pretty safe bet.
There's the delightful, not even rumor, speculation is that the first weekend of December is Throne of Skulls.
Yeah,
at Warhammer World. So if they have the ability to have any joined up thinking, surely you want it on the shelves on that day, on that weekend.
Yeah, because you've got 80 people, 100 people at Throne of Skulls? Something like that, yeah, that are going to buy it. And they're going to buy it at GW prices.
Yeah, you'd want it there. And even just for the atmosphere and the vibe and the excitement and stuff, you'd want...
Yeah.
I don't know whether they a lot of these things seem so disparate in the company now, like releases and events team and all that. But surely you'd be thinking you've got 80 Middle Earth fans coming to Warhammer World this weekend. Sell them the box,
if you can. Makes a lot of sense. And yeah, that would be awesome. That would be so cool. I'll definitely pop along for that. Bring baby in a pram for its first one. If baby, so that'd be cool. No, I was going to say if baby's there. I'm really baby's around.
3 months late. Yeah,
3 months late is a bit of a disaster.
I believe they intervene at that point.
Yeah. Frederick
born with a driver's license.
Yeah. Do we think that they'll do other plastic troops for the film? Rohan riders, other evil men. They had Haradrim Corsairs, even Easterling allies. Yeah, we did see a little bit in that clip at the start, a bit more Mummakill action. I mean, I'm hopeful of riders, frankly. It feels like an obvious other box to upgrade as an expansion to the box set. I'd be very surprised if they don't do that.
I would, assuming there are any more plastics, you've got to have a safe bet with Riders of Rohan, I think.
Surely.
Like I think being the next one. I would say if they've done they're sculpting digitally now. So if they've gone, I don't know quite how it works, but if they've gone to the effort of sculpting the bodies and they have those designs digitally, you'd think it's maybe easier to put them on a horse than it is to sculpt all new designs for something different. I don't know.
I agree, and I think they must know that if they didn't do the riders, that would cause a lot of quite serious disappointment. Particularly, it's not just a mainstay, but the difficulty they have now is that they've got the comparisons now, because people would have an army where they've got these modern dismounts sitting alongside the 20-year-old mounts, and it's just going to be incredibly deflating. I reckon I sincerely hope, and I reckon this is probably a fairly safe bet, is you'll have a Riders kit where with a few little swaps you can also make them Royal Guard, so it says dual Royal Guard Riders in one kit.
I think that would be quite hard to do.
Yeah, it'd be a big swap. All the bodies would be different because they're all armored.
Yeah.
Well, only the front of the bodies. The robes would be the same, right? with front bodies. Then you've got shields, heads, and then attachments for the bows and the quivers. I'm not sure what else would be different.
Imagine when you start playing in, like, let's say it's December or January. It's the first time ever a Riders of Theoden player is going to really be hoping they get dismounted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. People,
get rid of that. But these guys are...
You get that. I think that. So that logic. Let's thinking about the dual kit. The difficulty with that is, well, by the same logic, perhaps they would have done dismounts as the dual kit as well, and they haven't, so perhaps they won't. But
I don't think personally. I don't think we're going to get a dual kit. I just think that's unlikely.
Okay, well, then that still raises the spectre of they are going to have a problem, no matter how much or how little they do now, where the game is going to be split between old models and new models, and I guess that's been happening anyway, but never to the extent where they've got the base plastic sets split between basically two generations of technology. I mean, imagine if you brought 50% Royal Knights and 50% new plastic Riders of Rohan with the quality of these dismounts. It's going to look absurd. I mean, my view on the
you really hate the Royal Guard, don't you? I mean, the only thing I say with that is that
plastic horses that are just so expensive. That's what does my head in.
They are really expensive, yeah, those horses. I think
they're about 10 quid each, the horses, aren't they?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think we have been. I mean, you've got a Dernhelm and an Aemir and a Gandalf and all that alongside all those older things. But I guess
they always stand out. They're heroes.
They're heroes. Yeah. But I
do think it's the start of something, though. I think I don't know if it goes War of the Rohirrim or if it goes to something else, but I think if they've invested, I don't know, if they've invested in Rohan, I think then you might get, I don't know what else in the film. We have no idea about the scope of the film.
That's what I was just going to say, because we haven't really touched on that bit. I mean, Rohan Riders, I think, is a good bet. Other evil men? Do you think we'll see more Haradrim or Corsairs or even an update to the Mummock? I think an update to the Mummock's unlikely, but we might see other stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And the Mummock kit I still think is pretty damn good. Like that, and that is a colossal undertaking for them. I'd be very surprised. They could probably do, I don't know, four warrior kits in the time it takes them to do a new Mummock. And the new Mummock's going to look like a better version of the old Mummock.
The current Mummock is
there's only so much you can do with it, isn't there?
Yeah, I kind of agree.
But yeah, I think Haradrim and Corsairs are we don't really know, but I think it's enemies from the east. I can't remember the exact wording in the appendices, but enemies of Gondor or something that attack, and someone's got to be in that Mummock, right? So
yeah. I think they're probably less likely, but one thing we haven't mentioned, which I'll put a pin in the comments from this one, because we haven't talked about any of the other heroes, and because what we haven't said, we've obviously seen Wolf already, and Damien, you haven't mentioned on this stream, but I think Wolf has been relatively well received, hasn't he? I mean, what do you think of Wolf?
I think so. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think there was a lot of, because he was the first model, I think there was a lot of people going, oh, he doesn't look anime. He looks like he fits in with the range. He's obviously, from this angle, he looks like he's leaning. I suspect it might be one of those things that when you hold it, he looks more like he's running.
He's standing on a Rohan shield. I hadn't spotted that before.
Yeah,
that's the gift for you there.
Burn it.
But the mounted one, I think, is fantastic. I think it's glorious, and this is the model that got me really excited for the new range.
Yeah, I think wonderful. He does look good. But today we have announced alongside him, we'll get to the Rohan in a second, Targ. General Targ. So General Targ, let me just look at the blurb. He's a trusted advisor of Wolf and his father Freka, skilled in the ways of strategy and warfare, ruthless commander and fearsome fighter.
Master of battle.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that. Master battle.
Rohan helmet. Helmet.
Yeah, exactly. There's a Rohan helmet on the floor there.
For Christ's sake, I've just gone off him.
You know what I really like? I really like the horse in this, because it's not often that we have a horse that isn't really charging. Like this one is kind of sort of trotting.
Also,
bigger, like Saruman's.
Do you not think proportionately the horse looks bigger compared to the guy?
It's like a Shire horse,
like it should be.
Yeah. I think it's like a different kind of, and he just looks really cool. He reminds me of, I can't think of what, but it's like like an old Cadian 40k model, and I can't for the life of me think of who he is, but like a general kind of model. He looks really cool. I'm assuming he looks really like him in like the character in the movie, because it's the detail on that face looks insane. The wrinkles sort of on the eyebrows and the sort of the facial expression on the horse model.
I think he's old. So I think he's like a lieutenant of Freckers who then works with Wolf afterwards. So I think he's like the kind of experience.
Experience. I mean, it just looks cool. General Targ,
wonderful model.
Yeah. He just seems really awesome.
He's not from the book. I don't think he's a film character.
I was going to ask you that because your knowledge of the lore is far deeper than mine, and I believe Alex's. But I didn't recognize the name either, and I don't know the appendices.
I would bet you he's been made for that classic cinematic reason that the other evil character needs someone to talk to.
Yeah.
So like you have Frecker and you have Wolf, and they both need a character to be talking to about their plans, and so you need the extra character for them to chat to in front of the audience, tell the audience.
Which means he probably dies at the third act.
Yeah,
probably does die. Yeah, I don't think there's no way he's getting through the film.
This is a one fate hero.
Once all the exposition's done, get him out the way.
Started on One Fate Heroes, Harry.
Yeah, that's definitely a one fate hero right there.
That's what I cast into the fire.
Yeah, well, we should get on that podcast. Right. Now,
on the podcast.
Other ones. Here we go. So this is Hama.
Here we go.
Prince of Rohan.
So good.
This is
absolutely stunning.
I mean, I want to. So this is the blurb. The blurb says, Hama, Prince of Rohan, is the youngest son of Helm, something of a warrior poet, capable fighter in his own right, particularly adept with a bow, and rides to war alongside his father and brother in defense of Rohan. I mean, I think this model is absolutely outstanding.
It's stunning.
Absolutely outstanding. I think that the mounted version is competing now for my favourite model in the range. Currently held by Helm, the current incarnation of Helm Hammerhand. It's absolutely wonderful.
There's an irony in that, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
know.
Your favourite model.
The only concern I have is that horse standing on one foot is giving me the shivers.
It's all right. I think there's
it'll be on a mounded. These days, it'll be on. I think that'll be on
but that
plastic base or something.
It will. I'm sure. You're right. There'll be some terrain that the foot is stuck on, and it's all going to be one piece. But there are still going to be some people after some reasonably gentle falls looking to pin that leg back into place.
No. This is a prime example of a tactical rock glued underneath the back hoof. Where he's trotting over a rock.
Wouldn't it be amazing if the terrain it's glued to is the old Helm Hammerhand model? just as a gift for you.
Excellent. I mean, he looks great though, doesn't he? I mean, again, not to sort of labour the point, but the chainmail on around the sort of skirty bit is so gorgeous. Good. The fletchings on the arrow, even just the detail on the sort of quiff, you can tell the curtains, the Leonardo DiCaprio style curtains that he's wearing on his hair. It looks.
Are you trying to say his hair?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. His hair.
Harry,
the curtains he's wearing on his head.
I'm almost certain that is a little face that gets poked behind some hair.
Yeah.
Just like Dreamers was, which will be a nightmare to assemble, but will look fantastic.
Yeah, it just looks so nice. The detail on the little badges on the horse, on the sort of the straps on the horse, the detail. It's every single detail of this model is just incredible. I really, really like it so much.
And it's another one where they talk about going back to Damien, what you were talking about. Or Harry, it might be you actually. Having a horse that's not charging. Now, I appreciate that horse is charging, but if you look at it, they do a really good job of this. I think the MSBG designers of not making it so that every single hero looks incredibly powerful. Even though he's clearly advancing on the horse, that to me doesn't strike me as a model that's meant to look extreme, like this combat beat stick, this monster charging down the foe in combat. He's still, kind of cantering toward the enemy, sword drawn. There's almost some kind of hesitation about him. And I think it's because he's not meant to be this. That's not what he's meant to be. He's not like the Aemers or like Elrond looks very, very, very much like he's sort of charging into battle. Instead, him and
on a horse rather than a warrior on a horse. That's
exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. I think they've done a fantastic job.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I can't wait to see this in the flesh because it looks It just looks really, really, really nice. Brilliant. I'll hold off on the final one for a second. We'll just get a few more comments in there. Where are we? Oh, hold on. It's jumped. There it is. Here we go. So we've got Damien. You're not painting and drinking from your paint mug, are you? The wildest of wild man. Have you got 2 mugs? One for painting and one for...
I'm not actually painting.
You're gluing.
I have this for joy. I am gluing cotton wool. I'm finishing what I was going to do last night.
Oh, looking very nice. It's just an empty base with cotton wool on there.
Yeah, indeed.
Alex was talking about the kind of detail
very
he likes
droll.
to paint. This is the kind of detail I like to paint.
Josh says, I'm sure Last Alliance will eventually get its time, Johnny. They'd be crazy not to, but getting these new plastic tubes is a great sign. I agree. It's going to take longer to paint them, says Johnny Apocalypse in quotes. I just died inside to that reaction. He says, very good. Apologies for that. Houstonian greetings from Destroy the Dexterous, or Destroy the Dexterous. Destroy, that's it. Contrast paint will complement the models nicely. Yeah, that's true. Ross Godding says, more for the piles of shame. Lol, I need to get through them, though can't resist. You need to clear that backlog. Thanks for granting the shields more time, says Ewing. Very good. Irex says, 100% with Alex on this one. Love the old Rohan, but these benefit from such huge advances in design and tooling, a few washes and basic layers, and these will look absolutely banging. I think we're all in agreement there. Jack Rosa says, "Evening, lads. What do you think we'll get new mounted Rohan and or Royal Guard?" I think we've covered that since you posted this comment, but I think that we will get both. But I think we'll definitely get the riders. But
I think you'll get maybe resin Royal Guard. I think you'll get plastic riders and maybe a new resin kit. Two guys.
I'd take that. I would take that.
Two resin guys. They'll cost £32 and everyone can go nuts.
I won't take that, actually. Fuck that. Shit.
They will cost £32. We can be angry, but we cannot be surprised.
Yeah.
More than a pound a point. More than a pound a point.
Because Lake Town was the answer, mate. Did you tell him?
Yeah, did I tell you that the Lake Town Guard, was it Lake Town Guard?
Yeah, Lake Town Guard back in 2013. They were £1 a point when they came out.
Yeah,
I was screaming at your stream. I was like, it was 10 years ago, man. We were outraged at £1 a point.
But that was £1 a point, not more than £1 a point.
Yeah, okay. That's true.
So £5 each. Awful times.
That is. So
they're cheaper now. They are cheaper now. Don't believe what people tell you. They're cheaper to buy now than they were when they came out a decade ago.
There you go.
Well.
Tommy Murphy says, just logged on. I hear we're getting new MSBG plastic sculpts. Surely it must be Last Alliance, right? Right? Well, look, I think we can all be happy. I think, I know people keep banging on about Last Alliance, and it makes sense to bang on about it, but it also makes sense for everyone to link in with this movie, right? As much as I agree.
Can I give you my hot take? I know
go on.
Take on there. It's normally Alex. Alex seems to get chucked to the wolves quite a lot.
Yeah,
and something like quite rational.
John often has the hot takes.
You know how like everyone's going on about Last Alliance and all that.
Yes.
Do we all really love the Last Alliance that much? You know that 3-minute scene at the start of Fellowship of the Ring. Is it really that kind of incredible scene compared to Helm's Deep and the Pelennor and all that sort of stuff? I just think the kind of oh my! Can you imagine little Jimmy walking into Games Workshop going, "I really hope they've got a Last Alliance starter set." Is that really what gets people in, or is that because we're kind of nerdy and we like the history?
I think it is, and I think little Jimmy would love to have a big plastic Sauron. I think little Jimmy will be very excited by the idea of a big Sauron monster.
Let's be clear: that little Jimmy doesn't exist.
Yeah,
there's no little Jimmy walking into Games Workshop going, I want to watch.
I feel sick.
And even if
my favourite straw man argument. Little Jimmy,
and even if
curious about the price of the Arnor Knights.
I was going to say, even if little Jimmy does walk into Games Workshop and saved up all his pocket money for the past 6 months, he still won't be able to afford it anyway. So it's moot.
Well, moot. I just think this idea that there's a little Jimmy who's interested in anything.
They're
okay, I think we're getting too distracted by the little Jimmy. Shall we address the substantive point?
I think. Well, what I'm getting at is that, and this is kind of a rebuttal to Damien in the sense that I think the people who are interested in Lord of the Rings are our age essentially, because there's no kids who are watching Lord of the Rings unless their parents have told them to watch it and they've loved it because of that. But by extension, I guess, therefore, the Last Alliance box set makes zero sense for little Jimmy But a War of the Rohirrim box set makes a lot of sense for little Jimmy because he might see this new film that's coming out, and which might be a massive deal for everyone of that age. And then, then he might get into Lord of the Rings.
I like The Last Alliance. Big fan of it. Huge fan of it. I just don't think it's the entry, the kind of, big box entry point some people seem to think it is, I guess. But it's just because the models are so old and people want new versions of them, I guess.
Yeah, I think because
I think it's more iconic than you're giving it credit for, personally.
It lasts about a minute.
Yeah, I know, and that just shows how incredibly well done it is. It lasts about a minute, and yet it's ingrained in our collective psyche.
He's in it for like one shot.
I know, and look at the impact he's had on us as a collective. I think giving him the credit he deserves.
I think people like elves, and they want to see better elves, and I think that's a reasonable argument.
Why everyone loves Gil-galad, don't you?
Why? Because he's Fight 9.
It's because of his depiction in Rings of Power.
Okay, just warning to you guys. I've just been notified by EE that I've run out of data for the month. So
I thought you said you're on Wi-Fi.
No, I couldn't find anywhere to go on Wi-Fi, so I'm in a Tesco car park on my data. So if I get kicked,
GoFundMe?
Should we? Yeah.
Lovely, thank you so much.
Drop a donation to Super.
You can come to my Patreon,
video and I'll send the video of the money to.
No, you won't. No, you won't. Don't trust him for a second on that.
I didn't even know how Super Like works. I don't know whether it does work.
You've never received a Super Like.
Oh, shut up, Alex.
Oh,
have you received Super Likes? Oh, because you've got 100,000 people, because you sold your soul to the Warhammer 40k fans. I know
one video.
He's never received a Super Like, but he's got data, so he's the winner.
Anyway, we're getting very sidetracked here, but let's go back to the comments, and we'll see the last images as well. Wildmen will certainly be multi-parts if they have interchangeable weapons. Yes, that is true. I only paint orcs every October, says Josh Crosby. More Rohan, says Julian Hammond. Yes, Julian Hammond, if people don't know, he has a beautiful Rohan army. And hope we get some more riders to follow on. I think we will. I think we're probably in agreement there. Tom W says, watching the start stream, so initial reaction of box set is, oh my word, it looks beautiful. Frederick Schultz, I think we all agree. Frederick Schultz, agree with the base thing. Wolf comes with a Rohan shield. We'll 100% not use that when I get it. Nathan T says, Cast Into the Fire has lost a lot of credibility tonight. I hadn't realised it had enough to spare. Solid. Alex, I've got some of your dead Rohan on my Dunland Warriors bases, says Julian. Very good. I like that. I assume that's rubbing salt in the wound of a victory of his.
It might well be, but we'll see. We'll see how long that lasts.
Ben W says, just join the stream. Hi guys, have you discussed the relevance of a 3x3 game mat in the starter box, a new scenario format perhaps? We did at the start. We think it's just a beginner thing because it folds enough time to get into there.
We discussed it and decided it was irrelevant.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I think it's probably irrelevant, but we'll see. Thranite says, hopefully GW doesn't miss the Black Friday window for pre-orders. I don't think there's going to be a Black Friday sale. Bring baby if there is a pram, says Nathan. I will definitely bring baby in a pram if I come to Throne Schools in December. Thranite says, oh man, if we could get a range refresh on Corsairs. Who the hell is wishing for a range refresh on Corsairs? That is definitely not top of my list.
No.
But yeah, those models are annoying.
It's everything, isn't it? It's right, now give us Minas Tirith. Oh, we've got Minas Tirith. Then the day after that, well, now we need elves. All right, and the day after that, well, give us Corsairs. It's just, that's where we are.
Yeah, I think two of those three examples were sort of in the common top five. Minas Tirith, elves, particularly of the Rivendell variety. That's top of a lot of people's wish lists. The really key players. Corsairs, I think they're pretty much at the bottom.
They are awful models though. I think you've encountered painting them before as well, haven't you, Alex?
I painted one, and I will never paint the rest.
But yeah, I mean, that was probably one of your most entertaining videos because you did fall in the river. So check that.
Thank you. It was a shit-reeking canal, actually.
Julian Ammon says, hoping and yet dreading if we get new Royal Guard. Julian has a massive, beautifully painted Rohan army. He's desperately worried about having to redo now, isn't he? Glyn says, Rohan, and that's all. Josh Cole says, I can't imagine they'd do new foot Rohan without riders. Surely that would be madness. I think that's, surely. Thranit says, are Royal Guard ever called out in the books or movies? I've been wondering whether they're a good contender for being moved over to the Legends book. Ooh, I mean, they do exist because they are there standing next to Theoden, and
they're never named though.
No, that is true. But they are right there.
In the book, Daewine is chief of Theoden's knights. He's described as. But they're never called Royal Guard.
And to be fair, they are called Royal Knights on the GW website at the moment, aren't they? The mounted versions. I think it's Royal Guard for the foot and then Royal Knights. So, but yeah, I think they're probably going to stick around of all the things if hopefully we get new ones.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be legended.
New Riders is a no-brainer, but so was updated Rivendell after the new Elrond sculpt. So who effing knows, says Johnny Apocalypse. But now I think we do know. The new Elrond sculpt was clearly designed for the Angmar supplement, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
So because that appears in the book.
Was
it King and the Angmar dice were, I think, clearly all meant to be part of the Angmar release.
Yeah. I think that's.
Well, I was having a chat with someone the other night. They're saying that that there must be plastic elves somewhere because you got the banner bearer in the Elrond set, and they didn't produce that just out the goodness of their hearts. They did it presumably as a part of a larger range refresh. What that involves, as Damien was alluding to earlier, is going through the process of doing all the creative decisions regarding what the armor is going to look like, what the robes are going to, what the aesthetic is going to be, and then actually starting to create digital assets. And you don't do that for a single banner bearer that gets plonked in with Elrond
model. I think because the other reason they do it is they got space on the sprue.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, exactly. They've got space on the sprue, absolutely, and that's why he ends up on that sprue. But they still had to go through the process of actually designing him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm only passing. I mean, I don't know anything about any of this, so I'm not claiming any kind of authority.
I think you're right. I don't think you're miles away. I think it's the sort of thing that should they want to, Rivendell warriors are further along than other ranges because of that. Yeah. Because you're right. There's a digital asset of some sort.
They must be soon, but I mean they've got to hook it to something. And Angmar was not a bad book on to sort of if you were going to release plastic miniatures for Rivendell, doing Angmar was an option because of the sort of battle faunus and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But now that's gone, the next option is probably a Last Alliance supplement. And because of all this War in Rohirrim stuff, I mean, if I think it's unlikely, but if this War of Rohirrim film becomes massive success, they're going to be pushing more stuff from War in Rohirrim. They're going to be focusing more on the Rohan kind of era and that sort of stuff. So I think it's unlikely you're going to see those elves because of that. But I do want it. I do want it as well. Anyway, Josh says, yes, that plastic high elf banner always gives me hope. Doesn't look right next to those older sculpts.
Gorgeous model.
It is lovely. Daniel Gerber says, welcome along, Daniel. Says, what would be terrible is plastic warriors on foot, Forge World mounted versions, models 4 for 50 to 70 pounds.
No, don't.
Imagine if you got those
the riders.
Two £32 riders of Rohan. That would be amazing to go with those plastic models. It'd be awful.
Don't laugh about that. It's not funny.
Too close to the coffee.
I would bet my last genuine American Twinkie that we will not get Forge World Riders of Rohan.
No,
I would be quite comfortable to bet that.
I would eat my shoes.
I would buy a shoe and I would eat it.
Which I think was a thing.
No deleting this stream if that happens. We're holding you to it.
He didn't eat his shoe the last time he said he would.
No, I didn't. I did eat. I did it. Glyn Seymour says they are called knights in the book following Theoden versus the Black Serpent. Yeah, true. Thranit, thanks. Tanya says, is it the start of another golden age for the hobby? Oh, that's a very wide-ranging question. I think it all depends on the movie, doesn't it? Like, if the movie is fantastic and everyone wants to, and everyone sees it, and everyone wants to watch and get involved in the game, then it could be a resurgence. I think it's unlikely to see anything on the scale that we had when the game started. But
call me a dreadful shill, and God knows people do. But I know it's been quiet for the last 2 years. Has from 2016 to now not been a golden age for the hobby? Like if you look at your bookcase with 10 hardback rule books and a whole new range of plastic heroes and a whole new huge new ranges, it's been fantastic. I think for the last 8 years.
Yeah, I'd sort of agree. The last couple of years have been a bit quieter, I suppose. And last year in particular was real bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think we're doing all right. I'd say in many ways, I don't want it to be this sort of as popular as it was, because that sort of is. I like the fact that the team is very self-contained. They seem to know what they're doing. They seem to be left to their own devices to do the stuff that makes sense for us. So we get things like Angmar, Burda, all this sort of stuff, rather than somebody at the top saying, no, you need to do more Rohan stuff. Do more Rohan stuff because there's a big film and it's doing, I like that they're going to tie it in with this, but I kind of don't want it to become a massive thing, because I quite like my little corner of the hobby where, they don't do much with it and it just slowly updates occasionally, and that's that. But I mean, I think Golden Age is, I think it's riding the surf.
I think it's been incredible. Given, I know what people say, I know what the response this is, but given where it was, even with the Hobbit releases 2012, 2014, and 15, what we've had for the last 8 years has been amazing. And so I think it's already in a very, very good place. And if we now get another shot in the arm to it, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Alex, did you have anything to say on that? What, you muted at the moment.
Yeah, it's because I was stuffing my face with chocolate and I didn't think that was a feeling noise.
I didn't bother muting when I did that, so it's fine.
I'm just so much more polite, I guess. I don't have a frame of reference. I joined in 2020 or 21, even three years ago. So I don't know what it was like before. I know that there was a flurry of releases when I joined. In that first year, we had Eomer and Treebeard and Durnhelm, and then there was Elrond and the Osgiliath box set and things like that, and that was all amazing. And then it quieted down, and I absolutely hated it, and I thought it was very sad. I've come from games, played a lot of Legion, where releases have been, particularly in the early years, because it's quite a new game, have been at such an intense clip. But the thing I have noticed, is it's really surprising that this is the first time in this game's history that we've had a second edition of an existing plastic kit. I play Legion, and I got a clone army, and I've got the sort of old soft plastic clones, which weren't amazing, didn't look fantastic. They were only released in 2020 or something like that, 4 years ago, and there's already a second version of them with newer technology, newer plastics, looks amazing. And it's a much, much smaller game. Well, I don't know whether it's a smaller game, but it's certainly not leagues bigger. So if this has been the golden age and things aren't going to speed up, that's a problem for me. I find that a bit sad, because the range it is going to age out. It is going to age out. It cannot sustain forever. I
think we all have slightly different frames of reference here. So, Damien, you've been playing you've been sort of knee deep in the
quite grey up there, isn't it?
Well, you've been knee deep in this sort of hobby since the early days, playing at a competitive level and all that sort of stuff, and then now sort of still playing. Whereas I sort of sorry,
that's horrific shade.
Yeah. Now you still play.
You were playing at a competitive level.
I didn't want to mention your wooden spoon that you got recently or anything.
No, it was a metal wooden spoon.
It was a metal spoon. But the basically, so you've been around in the community for a long time, and so you've seen the dark days. I joined at the sort of tail end of that dark days in 2017, although I'd played it at B-Sign magazines and all that sort of stuff a long time ago, or B-Jime, I should say. And so I've seen the sort of the inkling of the rise, of the excitement of the return, but then also the kind of the spectre hanging over of us of the previous times that you mentioned about, Damien. And then I've also seen this little lull in the last couple of years. I feel like it feels a bit roller coastery, but actually it does feel like we're going back to one of the tops of the curve again, which is
they've invested in it, right? Whatever else God knows, and whatever people tell you, they don't know about the license. No one knows about the license, but they've gone after this. Maybe they have because it's Warner Brothers. Maybe they already have it, but they would have had to negotiate something. So at some point at Games Workshop, they've gone, yes, let's go for this and let's do it, and then let's put plastic sprues into it. Let's do it properly, and we'll have plastic warriors, and it at least shows in some sense that the company are putting money into this in a way that they haven't put into it, possibly since The Hobbit. Because in terms of, if you compare it to like the plastic warriors and stuff, and I think that's quite exciting.
I agree.
God knows what it means for the future. But...
I was going to say Golden Age, maybe not, but I still think it's riding a wave.
It can't be bad. You made a really good point. I think on a stream you said the worst thing that can possibly happen from this, even if the film's awful, is that you get a whole bunch of new models that look good. I think that's Harry. That's not me.
Yeah,
and
no, that is.
You're completely right. The worst possible thing that can happen is that you get new cool models.
Yeah.
What if the plastic has been tainted with some kind of horrible toxin and a lot of people die?
What if Sauron has found some sort of mithril ore and puts it in?
Well, exactly.
As part of the forging process.
I think
you're not thinking negatively enough, Damien. No. That's the problem.
I'm not. I'm the worst.
I guess the only slightly bad thing could be if Games Workshop invests massively into this, the film's a complete flop, and they go, "Wow, we're never going to do anything with this Lord of the Rings stuff again because it's just not worth doing." But I think that's really unlikely. They seem to be dipping their toe in this time rather than going, charging headlong into it like a bull in a china shop. So I think it's a good thing. Generally, we're going to get some new miniatures, and it's going to be linked to this film.
And also, they're cool miniatures, right? Forget the film.
Yeah.
What do you think the box is going to be? Is the box going to have anime, or is it going to be like the artwork on that book? But
I think it's going to be the book
artwork. If you don't like the film, you might just like people like Rohan, and I think people kind of like Dunland. So
that
it's just cool.
It's also
the film aside.
I mean,
I think that's hit the nail on the head. Yeah. Sorry, Harry.
I was just going to say that artwork that you mentioned. I put it on the screen. The Edoras. It's not the anime version of Edoras. Nice. It's Edoras it's the proper Edoras from the films with the Hall of Meduseld and stuff. So it's kind of that they've clearly thought long and hard about this hybrid of, do we do the anime thing? Do we just do Middle Earth? But we've got the Peter Jackson version of Middle Earth. So how do we do that? And I think they've really thought carefully about that because they know that anime might be a turn off for some people.
Oh, I've just noticed the bottom of the rule book. It says the three of them. Have you seen that?
Oh, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and the War of the... Yeah, it does say it. Well, no, just as well. Yeah. Sorry, Alex, you were going to say something.
No, I was just leapfrogging off. That's true, actually. Sorry, you've talked me around. I just thought what Damien said is absolutely true. They've managed to find a way of, with respect, no shade at all intended, of playing it as safe as humanly possible. It's like, well, we've got a new film, and we'll see how people respond to the new content. But it's all tied up in existing and extremely popular ranges. And if I went to see the film and I thought that was such a letdown, that was, a terrible story, badly written, poor animation, it wouldn't stop me from buying the box because the miniatures are absolutely incredible and I want the miniatures that are in it. And the heroes look superb, even if their film counterparts don't end up being amazing. And I guess there's two things that they'll judge it by. It'll be A, whether or not there's enthusiasm for the film, and B, whether or not there's sufficient enthusiasm for a plastic refresh of the older range. Because they'll eventually release Plastic Dunland separately, and if there's going to be a second wave of announcements, which seems like there probably will be, let's say Riders of Rohan, and even if maybe the heroes don't do very well because people don't like the film, but the Riders of Rohan sell ridiculously well because they're a plastic refresh of a very popular existing item in the range, then maybe the takeaway will be like, okay, fine, we don't focus so heavily on War of the Rohirrim, but we do still have the market to justify investing in refresh.
And don't forget, you've also got a market of people who will buy the models even if they don't like the film, if they're good in the game. So there's a whole there's a large amount of people who, if Haleth is really, really good, are going to go as cynical facing me, who probably will be.
Yeah.
They'll go out and buy it. Think like
they're in, aren't they? It's Gollum's Gamers
King or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyone who enjoys the competitive
shade on the Gollum Gamers.
Even if they hate that,
no shade at all.
Models, right?
It's only because anytime I've ever come across them, they've utterly trashed me, and I feel very bitter about it.
See, actually,
they're people who enjoy the competitive side.
It's because you're better than me.
There's people who just love it for playing that and for min-maxing and all that, and that's where they get their enjoyment out of. And they'll kind of go, well, I'll go and buy this model because it'll be good in a tournament.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a plastic model which is easier for, like, it's cheaper. Or I assume it'll be cheaper than a Forge World model will be. So
certainly, that's the thing. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Actually, because people are starting to get used to Forge World prices and being horrified by them, and now all of a sudden you'll get the plastic kit prices, and they are going to be a lot cheaper. That'll be quite a nice climb down. I think it's like, I don't think the prices are going to be as bad as people think, because they're used to getting like the new Warriors from Forge World, the ones people are accusing of being a bit Sigmar-y.
Yeah, 36 quid or something, was it, or more? I can't remember. 42 quid actually, because I wanted to get some, and then
they're the same price as the Swan Knights and the Black Dragons, which explains why everyone was so surprised by the pricing.
Oh, there's some shade. That was excellent.
It is true, though. It is true.
I'm not saying they're not expensive. I cannot for the life of me understand the surprise and outrage.
Yeah,
they're selling them for the price they sell things.
Let's get back into those comments then before Damien drops more shade on us. You can't possibly improve on the old Oliphant, says Johnny Apocalypse. I think you probably could. I think it's just a marginal thing, isn't it? It's like, do you invest heavily on this thing for a marginal upgrade? Because that kit isn't really easy to build. I've built a few. It's aesthetics isn't really the problem. The build experience is a palaver. Yeah, absolute palaver, and I don't use that word easily. Yeah, wouldn't rule out. Yeah, hold your horses, Alex.
Palaver
on this stream.
It's too far.
Frederick says wouldn't rule out a Siege Mummock kit. The ones in new film look a bit different or quite different. He says. Kit. Yeah, maybe a Forge World upgrade kit like the War Leader, but to match the film. That actually feels plausible to me. And I haven't seen is the Mummock upgrade kits actually available yet? It feels like it hasn't been.
People constantly tell me it's not.
Yeah,
they have. I was at Warhammer World the other week. They have a couple in stock in store.
Yeah,
but they're not available online.
Yeah. The appendix specifically mentions Corsairs and Easterlings. I assume that's about the people who are fighting. Grimdork Future says Wolf isn't painted anywhere near as well as any of these other models on show. I think you might be right. I think looking at the Wolf model now, I'll get them up on screen.
That's interesting.
I'm less excited by the Wolf model than when I saw it, because Targ is just so much better, and Hammer is better than that. So. But yeah, I think I agree with that. So,
have we looked at, you haven't shown Haleth?
No, we haven't got to Haleth yet. Sorry, we're working our way through the comments. I did pause just to do that. Targ,
he's about to cut me off, so we've got to be careful.
Yeah, that's true. He's running a Clydesdale, says Adam Harrison. Yes, that's right. Thick horses in the new sculpt, says Frederick. 6 out of 7, dismount 3. Dismount Targ 8, mounted 8 out of 9. Glyn, that is the most confusing scale.
I don't think that's 8 out of 9. It's 8 or 9. 6, 7,
I think it's like 6 out of 7 and dismount 3 out of 7. Okay, yeah.
I gave it a 6.5 out of 6.6. Really, so close.
A perfect 5 out of 7.
I am praying that all the heroes have to try to swim the opposing armies on their bases as Irex.
Just to wind up Alex.
Thranite,
I tried to give him the finger, but it was covered up by the live in Edmoot Live.
Very good. Warhammer official is saying the 3x3 is just for the starter box. Yeah, I think we mentioned that earlier. Rob Alderman, who's the Middle-earth manager, said that as well. Josh Cole's glad to see different horses for the heroes. A lot of Forge World Troop and hero horses have all looked quite similar, even L1's new plastic one. I think that's probably true. Advisor to Frecker, tutor to Wolf vibe. Yeah. Hamas helmet helping Hammers helmet.
I think.
Hope it's Hammers rather than Hamas.
You have to be really careful with that pronunciation going forward.
Hammer's helmet helping those cheesy players ally with Rivendell. Lol. Very good. Love it, says Brad. Recent MSBG horses have been a joy to paint, says Nathan.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Glyn Seymour says, is his dismount pose copy and pasted from one of the minor Ranger heroes? His mounted version looks fantastic. This is, I assume, Hammer? He does look a bit similar, but
Anborn, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he does, but he's better than Anborn, I think, personally.
It's just in the same. It's a similar.
Yeah, pose, you've got to hold the bow. Hold the bow, haven't you? Oh God, it's jumping again. Where's it gone? Here we go. Josh Cole says, "Oh yeah, they've been fantastic paint. A lot of them have been very similar. These new ones are cool variation. Time to paint 30 belts and straps," says Johnny Apocalypse. Described as a poet on "Oh, his death will be tragic." Yes, I think you're probably right. Yeah, Josh Crosby. Does Alex have different bases for all his models for each type of terrain he might play on? Oh, that's a question. Yes, we do. Shut up, Damien, says Johnny. I don't know what that was related to.
I imagine that's do we really like The Last Alliance?
Yeah, oh right, yes, we do. Obviously, yes. Little Jimmy wants plastic Gundabad, says Brad. The idea of Last Alliance Elves, not the men, was what I dreamed about. They do the single most cool maneuver army-wise. Okay.
Yeah,
the blades going up. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Stinky Smelly Rat, call it a night. Have a good one, gents. Thanks for joining us. Tanya says Rings of Power will cover the Last Alliance, so we may not see it for a while. Yeah, well, that's true. That would be a good timing for them to release some new plastic Last Alliance stuff when the Rings of Power get there.
God, they'd be angry, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they'd be angry, wouldn't they? Very true, Harry. New audience with the anime compared to Lord of the Rings films. It's what you first see from a film that captures your imagination and makes you want to collect that. I mean, that's true. Tom Maynard's in. It's right at the beginning, Damien. Elrond is literally there. It's really cool. It's true. Charlie Marino's in.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, it is really cool, he said. Yeah. Charlie Marino's in. He says, cheers from Oregon. Stinky Smelly Rat says, yes. I don't know what that's in relation to. I will pay Alex's bill. Oh, it's
Alex's EE bill.
EE bill.
That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. You can send send the money to my PayPal.
Thanks. Charlie Marino says, Targ looks a bit like a song of Ice and Fire. Yeah, I think there is a bit of that there. Yeah. Only joking, are we, Last Alliance, says Tommy Murphy. Understand the new box set, but Last Alliance, both elves and men, are by far the best designed armies of the films. Also, Noldor for the win, and Fianna did nothing wrong.
Did he not?
Lots of thoughts there, Tommy. Charlie Marino likes the new poses and style overall. Josh Coles, from a lore perspective, Last Alliance Second Age is personally some of the favourite Middle Earth stories. Get what Damien is saying, but I think it would be great for the range. Also, Plastic Sauron
would be cool. I just think that's more this might be like a 3-1, like a Elendil, Isildur, Sauron pack, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe this is something that you're really wanting to back down on, Damien.
I just want to take some
after some reflection time. Yeah.
I've seen what happens to you on these streams. I just didn't want you to be the.
I'm very grateful. So you're sort of jumping in front of me.
I think Last Alliance is almost certainly going to be on the agenda, but I just think it'll be a couple of years now that it'll happen. I just think it's almost certainly going to happen. But who knows? We'll see.
People have been saying that since 2018.
Yeah, that is true. That ever since the mention of that Anarion in the book, but that will go. Sorry. We've already seen that one. Little Jimmy needs to get back in his box, says Nathan T. Glenn Steele says, nah, he just took a wrong turn. I think the next thing guiding releases after this film would be what appears in Hunt for Gollum.
I think
that's interesting conversation.
It doesn't feel like that will yield as much in the way. I thought that's going to be more character focused film, less big battles, because it's just them. We might get some good Dunedain stuff, I guess.
They've got to do something with it. It's not. Have you seen The Hunt for Gollum, like the fan one?
Yeah,
which is really, really good. It's about half an hour. It's not. I think they're saying it's 2 films now, aren't they? Like classic Jackson, but
no,
it's not. It's not going to be 4 hours of Aragorn wandering around in mud. They'll have to kind of expand it into other areas or battles.
I don't know about you, but I was hoping it was going to be Aragorn, like in the Lego Lord of the Rings games, where Aragorn sniffs around the tracks and tries to find the traces of Gollum and stuff like that.
Which is amazing. I like 2 hours on the big screen.
Yeah. I like the fact that someone saw the Gollum video game, saw its reception, and was like, "Yes, people want this on the big screen. This is what they've been asking for."
Yeah. Josh says, if they did tie anything to Hunt for Gollum, I'd love a new plastic Thranduil. The Forge-Wheel one on Elk is fantastic, but that one on foot, Finecast one, is rough in comparison. I suppose.
Great.
Yeah, I think the elf.
That's a bit like what Alex was saying about the Rohan, though. I haven't thought about that, but he got the ultimate Forge-Wheel glow up on Elk.
Yeah,
he never got his foot version, did he?
Yeah, some of the foot versions are all right though. They're not terrible.
There's one of them is appalling. One of them I quite like. The one where he's the one that I butchered to give him a candy cane, where he's just sort of holding his sword and he's got his robe around his shoulders. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I think of the Hobbit Thranduils, the 2 pajama ones are better than the armored one. I think Yoga Thranduil and the original one's the best one, just the one where he's got his sword down. I think the one Alex was talking about, where he's just standing there in his robe. Beautiful.
So the armored one is horrifying in my view.
I don't think it's that great.
James Palmer's in. He says, agree with Damien. We often have that what next mentality and forget we've enjoyed the game during a great period of its history. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Corsair plastics were trash on release, says Nathan, but I don't think we're ever seeing a redo for them. I agree. Back to back, Harry and Damien. Awesome times we live in. Oh, and the model's very good, says Richard Clammer. Thanks very much, Richard.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot, Richard. Yeah. Isn't it lovely to see Harry and Damien on the screen?
Casey's in. He says, Casey, I think Casey can be a boy or girl, can it? Casey is in anyway, and they say, I've missed the bit where with the Warriors reveal discussion. Just want to point out that the sculptors are clearly paying homage to the brilliant original plastic Warriors we've had for so long. Actually, that's a fair point. The original ones are good. These are just getting a real, as you use the term, glow up, aren't they? So shout out to the Perry twins, who I believe did the original Rohan ones. Can't wait to buy this box, says Casey. Casey Box. Richard Clammer. Also, Damien, can we have a B-Side Black Dice competition tonight? I might stand a chance to win one. Well, I mean, what would you be painting? There's no theme. There's no. It's just.
It's not my house, man. I can't make the rules.
It's just discussion. I mean, you by all means, feel free.
I mean, obviously, I'd offer to do a giveaway of some Battle Camper purple dice, but no one seems to give a shit. So,
also,
oh, you didn't like that comment about last night, did you?
also,
I'm a small, bitter man, Damien.
Also, to be fair, Alex, I think there are plenty of patrons who are still waiting for their dice.
All right, let's make it personal. Huh?
I'm just saying, I know
that's my private business.
Or my dice bag.
It's a lovely view of the Tesco's at this.
Josh says, I don't think you realise how much GW wants to phase out Forge World. Yeah, they've even changed the name, haven't they? I reckon only the models already in production from the backlog will come out in resin. I don't think so, Josh. We've just had a massive wave of releases.
Yeah, I disagree.
Miniatures. I think they're very much here to stay, mainly because the capacity of the system at Games Workshop. They keep saying it, but we keep hearing about the factory not being up to scratch, and Forge World is clearly a separate entity. So that while they've got that facility to make stuff in Forge or resin, they'll keep pumping it out. I'm sure.
Can I just very briefly say my favorite thing about the change in name of Forge World, because obviously it's lost its unique branding and it now is just Expert Kit. My favorite, but they name it Expert Kit regardless of whether or not it really rationally applies. And my favorite Expert Kit is the Forge World Amon Hen head. Just a head, and all it is it's just it's a great head. It's one piece. It's the head in a box. You open it, and there you go. You've got the head.
I'll tell you what. Actually, it is. Having opened one, it isn't quite as simple as that. You do have to
cut a massive
chunk off the bottom.
Quite a lot of material. Which is what you're paying for.
Yeah, you're paying what is it, 30 quid, something stupid like that?
30 quid, yeah. Which is it's the best head I've ever got for 30 quid. I mean that.
For 30 quid, so it's implying that you have paid more.
Guess what I've done?
Go on.
Tell me what I've done. I've just sat here and gone, guess what I've done and why I now need to leave.
Have you got beers in the freezer?
Yes.
Oh, no. Damien put some beers in the freezer yesterday and he was worried about them, but they didn't bust in the end. So there you go. Right, okay. We're talking about the B-Sime streams, by the way, if you're not quite clear what that was about. Anyway, I'll keep bashing through. Been in the hobby 2 years and I was worried about getting in. I kept hearing the game is dying or dead. Then Angmar and Rohan set fantastic. MTP, the problem is you're listening to people on the internet that aren't us. There are quite a lot of people on the internet who will shout, "Oh, the game's going to die. It's all sad and horrible," and people comment. And actually, there's also plenty of sensible people like Damien who have been around for a long time and have seen the ebbs and flows and realise we're far from dead, and it's actually a very good place for the game. And I'll back him on that because I've been around for 7 years now in this hobby, and this is a good time. This is definitely a good time. Last year was poor. I'll admit that it was poor last year. But yeah, Frederick says, so with the rule book, when the Hunt for Gollum comes out, will we get a new edition and rule book will say Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, War of the Rohirrim, The Hunt for Gollum? Who knows? And they keep adding to it for every new spin-off film. Changing Wet Palette for the third time today onto Metal Highlights, says Johnny Apocalypse. Great. Charlie Marino, what are you painting out of interest, Johnny? I can't remember what you said. Charlie Marino says, I think compared to the aberration of Rings of Power, War of Rohirrim is still going to look like a masterpiece. Charlie, I absolutely love the Rings of Power. And Alex,
I thought we were going to get through a whole stream without having to have this bloody discussion again.
I think aberration is an extremely strong term for the Rings of Power.
Harry will hunt you down and he will stab you. He really does. I don't. It's fine. You can hate it. Charlie, you're welcome to hate it, and if you want to, that's fine. No, this is what you say in public.
No, I have no problem.
Some of the behind-the-scenes conversations.
I have no problem with people thinking the Rings of Power isn't very good. I think they're wrong, and I know they're wrong. And also, you're entitled to your opinions, but I love it. You can't call it aberration. Maybe you can say I don't like it, but I love it. And I mean, the last episode wasn't as good as the rest of the series has been, but this new second series is way better than the first series, and it's coming along really nicely. Damien, as you're the only unfrozen person here, what do you think? Maybe he ran out of data. Actually,
Alex is as frozen as this beer.
Yeah,
it's not popped. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's awesome. I'm a happy, positive little person. There's bits of it I don't like, but I think what they're doing with Sauron and Celebrimbor is absolutely amazing and is brilliant and is straight out of the book.
And so was the Barrow-White stuff. So was the Tom Bombadil stuff. I mean,
I think it's very good. And every week we get a Lord of the Rings TV show, and
go on, Alex. Go on. Are you going to bash Rings of Power?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you froze for a long time.
But did you hear me protesting your stance on Rings of Power?
I heard some loud protestations, but then it cut off.
Like that.
We can no longer hear Alex.
He's being silenced by big Amazon.
Yeah. Amazon's cut the cables.
He's got on the phone to EE and go, right, cut that battle camper guy off. He's dangerous.
When Alex comes back, we'll let him defend which, to be fair, a lot of people do say Rings of Power isn't very good, and
I do, and you're allowed to think
you're allowed to think that, yeah. But I do like it. To agree with Damien, I'll be getting the models for my Rohan army, regardless of how good or shit the film is. Tony Apocalypse says, yeah, great. Yeah. I had to pause the stream, but surely this anime film opens GW up to a different global and younger market. Great introduction to get into 40k. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll do better in places where anime is very popular. I don't know.
I would have thought, and this is pure, like, I don't want a less shitty version of Blue Sky thinking. I don't want to say Blue Sky, it's like spitballing, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I would have thought they're more likely to do that by releasing a 40k anime show to get anime fans into the hobby than a Lord of the Rings anime film would. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but they don't have control over that, do they? So, but they can still ride the coattails of this thing, which might be really successful.
I don't think it's going to be huge. Like, and I mean that as someone who likes the look of it and thinks I'll go to it and enjoy it because I like things. But it's just because it's anime. It's not gonna take off.
Who knows? I mean, it doesn't feel like Lord of the Rings is not the kind of in vogue thing that it was 20 years ago. Because obviously it kind of kicked off the fantasy thing, and Game of Thrones was successful after that. And, it became cool to like Lord of the Rings and fantasy because of Lord of the Rings. But I don't think we're there anymore. I mean,
Lord of the Rings wasn't in vogue when the films came out.
No, and that's
like, fantasy was dead. Fantasy in the cinema was dead. The previous thing was like Dungeons and Dragons which was released by New Line Cinema in 2000. It was abhorrent.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember it was like lightning in a bottle.
Now, I remember getting that Dungeons and Dragons film free with my Return of the King DVD because they were giving it away. But I think you're right. You never know. This could be the start of something. And actually, as times go to try and reinvigorate something like fantasy, it's not a bad time because it's not as if Marvel is at the top of its game anymore. That's been the sort of dominating force of kind of pop culture for the last few years.
You want a fun story? You want a story to do a piece on for your radio thing? Go and look at the making of Dungeons and Dragons. The director of that film, the 2001, he's not a movie director. He's a guy who likes Dungeons and Dragons and basically convinces the license holders to let him make a film of it.
Wow.
It's hysterical if you read what happened to it. It's just a guy who, can I make a film? Can I make a film? And eventually I went, oh, go on then. He went, oh no, I don't make films. It's wonderful what happened.
Oh, I had no idea. That's
really good. It's a really good story.
Oh, brilliant. That does sound, I'll have to read up on that. Here we go. Right, here we go. So Carnate says, something really bothers me with one of the new models. Haleth hat on foot has a scabbard, but no sword. Right, okay, let's have a look at Haleth.
Is he one we haven't looked at?
Yeah, that's right. Haleth is right there. Oh, and Alex is back.
Hey.
His face has reappeared.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. You were in the middle of protesting Rings of Power, and then I think what happened
I wasn't actually. So just FYI, I bought more data. I bought an unlimited 24-hour data pass, so I'm back in business. And I don't have strong opinions on Rings of Power one way or the other. What I find funny is goddamn, policing you and John talking about Rings of Power is a fucking impossible task. Neither of you will shut up about it, and you come out here and you're like, oh, it's all good. You have your own view. I don't believe that. That is an act. That is a charade. I believe you are passionately and vehemently against anyone who exactly. That is you all over, and you will expunge them from the planet before you.
As an outsider, my take on it, having watched them at play, is that Harry is opposed to people who just say it's shit. That it's shit. It's a dumpster fire. It's just crap. Which is very different to go, I don't like it for these reasons. And that's the kind of feeling I have on it.
I remember sitting at the Grand Prix last year and giving Harry some very detailed, and if I don't say so myself, eloquent reasons as to why I found flaws, some reasonable flaws in the Rings of Power.
I never said it was flawless.
He threatened to push my mum off a bridge. It was really brutal about it.
That's outrageous.
Those words exactly.
I'm sure that didn't happen.
Then he doxed her on the internet. I just couldn't believe it.
She not like it either. Why does pushing her off a bridge help?
She doesn't like it either.
No, and I know what I think there are definitely legitimate criticisms of Rings of Power. I just don't always think that means that it's a horrendous thing. But anyway, I think it's a sort of middling to average and getting a lot better TV series. This series. So anyway, sorry, we were going through. You interrupted when we were going through some comments. Carnate said. You're about Haleth not having a scabbard, and so let's have a look at Haleth because I forgot to look at him earlier.
He's got a scabbard, but he doesn't have a sword. That's the point.
Sword. Let's see.
So the foot one's got a scabbard, but he doesn't have a sword.
He does. That's true. It looks like, but he does have a sword in the scabbard on the mounted version. I suspect this is a bit like the. I remember they said something similar about the AMR model that you can probably have him with a sword in his right hand with an empty scabbard and an axe with a scabbard, but to show you the difference there, they've decided to give you that show you both. Which
Harold Parkhill, I think you're spot on with that.
Yeah, I think you're
right. Spot on.
But I mean, what do we think of Haleth?
But the things people. Sorry,
go on, Alex. No, you say your thing first.
The thing people don't like about that on the AMR model is that there's no option for a scabbard with the sword in.
Yeah.
So even if you give him with the spear, you can't have the scabbard with the sword. And I think that's what they're saying is that once again you've got the axe, but no sword in the scabbard.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. What Alex? While you're talking, what do you think, Haleth?
Yeah, it's just superb again. I think the interesting thing here is how they've modelled the horse, because that's on the face of it quite a similar pose to both Theoden and Helm Hammerhand. They've got the sort of horse rearing up, and it does feel like it's quite difficult to make it so that it's different. But he's kicking his right leg up like that. Obviously, he's got his hand on his sword, but the axe raised high on the other hand. And because the sort of skirt around I don't know what you call that. What do you call the barding? Is that what it is? Around the horse is quite different as well. It still looks really unique. I just think it's fantastic. Although I think the star of the show for me is the dismount.
I really like the dismount. Is amazing. The armor is awesome. The heads are awesome. The axe really cool. And one of my favorite features of the mounted model is the sword's scabbard having a sort of silhouette in the cloak. So if you look at the cloak,
you were going to say having a sword in it.
No, it doesn't. but if you look at the cloak, it's got like that triangle where it's clearly poking through. But I'll be honest, I'm not in love with the barding. I think it looks a bit weird, and I suspect that may well be a design thing because of the anime.
Or it could be the way it's painted.
Yeah. I mean, yellow and red on the
it looks exactly like it looks on the film. That's the thing. It's one of those.
Yeah.
I imagine. Can I just not to fight with young Alex here, but without calling you a crazy person, am I mad, or do both Helm Hammerhand and Theoden's horses? They're not rearing up, either of them.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
Really? What, the plastic Theoden's? Oh, am I?
No,
I can't even check, because if I try and open a different thing on my phone, then I'll leave.
AMR is rearing up.
AMR's rearing up. Yeah.
Theoden is charging through. I haven't got
Helm is just kind of having a sit.
Yeah, I think you might be right, actually.
I don't think this horse surely. I'm not actually trying. I'm not doubting you. I am doubting you a bit, but
you're not actually doubting you, just a bit.
Theoden is the plastic Theoden's rearing up.
Hang on.
Hold on, let me get the pictures. I'll get the pictures and we'll put it on the screen for you.
There you go. There's Helm.
Okay, so Helm, I was wrong. Fine.
I mean, okay, looking at the Theoden, I'll just put it on the screen. Sorry, hold on.
Is this like Mandela effect kind of thing?
I don't know.
Actually,
so third,
because for Mandela effect, everyone has to be remembering it wrong, and it's just me.
Third and
temple effect.
Third and's on the left there.
That's just being wrong about things. Oh my god, he's right as well.
Yeah. So he is kind of rearing, but in a because he's took both of the front feet off the ground,
but not enough. I think old Damien is right.
Close,
yeah,
Aeon was close, and maybe even the Witch King. He's quite similar to those.
Yeah,
but,
anyway, back to Haleth. Sorry, I
think he's my least favourite of the four.
I was going to say the same. Yeah, I think that's.
I still think the actual armor and everything is beautiful. Like the detail on it seems so far ahead of what we've had. Maybe even including the recent plastics. All the little rims on his panels and stuff is great. He's clearly a bit more of a fighter than his warrior poet brother.
Yeah.
And it's a cool pose. It's a super pose, and it looks really different to the other one. It's just I don't think it's quite as good, and I think it is just that slightly lower barding than we used to get in a Middle Earth.
Yeah, it's just it feels like it would slow the horse down to me.
But perhaps it also protects his bum.
Yeah, maybe.
No horse wants a sword up the bum. That's what we've learned.
I think that's probably true.
It's true of many of us.
Many of us,
but not all of us.
Not all of us. So there we go. That is the last bit. So where are we? What's next? So
do you have a favourite, Harry? A favourite? Let's do hero. Like
favourite of the ones released. Yeah, I think the favourite. I mean, of the heroes, probably. I think probably General Targ, the mounted version. Because I really like the horse, but the hammer is particularly good. So
yeah,
I don't know. I do like both. I think I like both of those quite equally. But I do think Wolf and Haleth are the weaker of the four. But yeah, that's what I would go with.
I think probably hammer for me. The mounted hammer, I think, is really cool. Really good. I really like that.
Very nice. Very nice.
Well, I agree with Alex about the ankle fear.
Yep. I think I'm on the same page as you guys. Hammer is the best. Agree with about the weaker ones. The kit I'm most excited about is the Rohan models, rather than the heroes, but that's only because I know that they'll be there in every single Rohan game I play. Very ubiquitous.
Absolutely. I think they're just looking ace.
We'll talk about what's not there, given that I think.
Yeah, this was going to be my next question. We've got a lot of comments still kicking about, but I will. I'm happy to put a pin in the comments for a bit because, like you say, the obvious thing here is the main character of the trailer, who we mentioned earlier, is not there. What's her name? Hera. So we got her on the poster. She's right there, front and center. She's the key character. So I think this is an obvious next release. Announcement. Surely, I'm surprised that she's not in the box, frankly, and nor is Helm Hammerhand himself. So
I think Helm, in theory, Helm's omission is bigger. But ever since I don't know what they announced it, everyone's been saying Hera and Helm in the box.
Yeah, that's exactly what seems logical to me.
It is a bit of a it's gone everywhere.
I suppose they want you to buy. I suppose they want you to buy the box, and then they want you to buy the really key critical heroes afterwards.
And
I don't want to do spoilers, and I'm not going to do spoilers in case people haven't read a 70-year-old book. But it's about the scene, and I got nerdy and super excited about this because it's cool. Isn't the box called The Battle for Edoras?
Yes.
And I think if you know the story, Helm and Hera. I know what happens at the Battle of Edoras. Helm and Hera aren't there. They're somewhere else.
Yeah,
they're a different place that you might have heard of that maybe gets named after one of them afterwards.
And
you're being too subtle here. I think you have to spell it out a bit more.
A deep place that gets named after one of the characters who may or may not be there.
Minas Tirith.
Minas Tirith. Yeah, very good. But they've got the Rohan houses, right? They've got the scenery ready to go. What they don't have is a Helm's Deep. So they make the starter set based on a battle in the game that happens at Edoras, which then means who do you put there? You put the participants who are at the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Alex's cynicism is probably the more accurate reason that actually they do want to sell them. They want to sell.
After Damien's the very succinct and I think quite persuasive explanation, like, nah, mate, nah, it's money. It's
money. It's if they want to sell. You're right. They do want to sell the heroes separately, which is absolutely right. Like, obviously, if you're trying to sell a new film stuff to people, you're going to go, right, get your big box set for the game, and you go, and if you want to get the cool heroes, Helm and Thingy, then you've got to buy them separately. And I kind of think that's true. But your argument is very persuasive and probably also true. So it's fine. I'll accept that. I'll accept that.
Do we think they'll do the campaign? I don't know whether you guys have followed what they did with the Age of Sigmar and the 40k box releases, but with both of them, they released the starter sets, and then for about a month, if you got the sets, you got a code, and the idea was you played a game with the starter set against another person, figured, and then whoever won, you entered that onto this website using this code that came in the starter box, and whichever side won, their second wave of releases came out first. So
I like that idea.
Yeah. I wonder whether we'll get something like that.
Skaven, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, it's a bit different for those systems because the idea is
how bad this year has gone.
I'm just looking at you, sort of going down below the camera quite a lot.
Yeah, and despairing that it's gone everywhere, but I didn't realise there was a beer in play at the time.
Yeah.
I'm basically torpedo in it.
Oh, brilliant! Involuntary torpedo or self-torpedoing. Excellent work.
Can you please stop?
I'm gonna put some comments up. Haleth and Hama from the films are completely different characters, and in the films they won't be retiring them. Sorry, hold on, I've missed a question.
Oh, from the Lord of the Rings films, yeah.
Yes. Any thoughts on the name repetition? Says Nathan T. I've seen fearmongering about retiring Haleth and Hama, and then Incarnate answers that. I mean, I assume that Haleth and Hama from the Lord of the Rings films were named after these guys.
These are names from the book. Haleth and Hama are named in the book as
sons.
I don't think. Do you know what? I think Haleth isn't. So Kid Haleth, Helm's Deep Haleth.
Yeah.
I don't think he's named in the book. I think that's a Peter Jackson invention.
I think it is, yeah.
But Hama's there, and yeah, Hama's a historic name, possibly named after the son of Helm Hammerhand.
But it may be something like, I think often they did this with the film. They just plucked names out that they knew were Tolkien names and just gave them to characters because they wanted to give them a name that Tolkien invented rather than making something up themselves. So, in fact, I know for a fact that Alessio Cavatore from who helped write this game, he helped Peter Jackson name Gothmog, the orc, because he said, well, there is a guy called Goth, because they were wanted to have a leader. They said, oh, there is a guy called Gothmog when they were trying to name it when they visited the set, and then they did name him that.
Because also, if you think
can I just
sorry, go on.
Just on Haleth and Hama, the fact that in the films, Hama, who is named in the book, the kid is playing his son, and it's Haleth, son of Hama. So you put the two names together, almost as if they went, well, do you remember when Helm had two sons and they were called Haleth and Hama? So my name's Hama. I shall name my son Haleth in his honor. So I suspect Peter Jackson named him Haleth.
Yeah,
because of the connection to Hama from the appendice.
I think so. I think you're right.
But no, I don't think either of them will be retired. Sorry, Alex.
No, I was going to say that my face covering situation had gotten worse because I was covered up by Nathan's icon, and then Harry. I know you did, because then you cheated to make me look like an idiot. You swapped me with Damien.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
now his face is going to be covered, but you make me look like I was whinging. There we go. He looks a lot better, actually.
Santiago Alonso Vicente says Carndom in plastic would have been great. Yeah, they would. Everything. It'd be great to have everything in plastic. Frederick Schultz says, horse fun fact: some of the more recent GW sculpts have used 3D. Sorry, you know what? I've done it because of this. Let me stop sharing.
I read that as sculpt shave.
Sculpt shave. I don't know what it's. Oh yeah. Some of the more recent GW sculpt shave used third-party horse 3D files. Pretty sure about that. Some Fireforge minis, etc., have the same horse designs. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know how you would find that out though. How would you know that unless you had a insider and the thing?
They look the same.
David Sweeting's in. Dave Sweeting, welcome along. He says, what have I missed? We talked about the new models. He says he loves the new models. Will we see Plastic Royal Guard? I think we sort of I think we thought maybe the Forge world is likely to be Royal Guard, but it would be lovely to have plastics, wouldn't it?
You will not see plastic.
Dave, I like the fact that Dave's profile picture is this fantastic looking Balrog from his purple Balrog army, which had a fantastic display piece at the recent Nottingham of Dice and Men event that you won Best Painted with.
It was it was not wasn't in Nottingham, it was in Yorkshire.
Not Nottingham, Yorkshire, yeah, but yeah, super.
It was true.
Job.
Carnate says Hunt for Gollum could have new plastics for Thranduil, Gandalf the Grey, Strider, Aragorn, Nazgul, to name a few. Yeah, that's true. And there's also a fight between Mirkwood Elves and Orcs, which is how Gollum escapes as well. Yes, that's true. Someone is looking very cute tonight, says David.
Thank you.
Arrogant.
Is that? I don't know who that's going from. It's good. Santiago says we need a movie about the Battle of Fornos and Iarno, don't we? Don't we just? Oh my God! Hold on a second. Irex has super chatted. Best armies, Iron Hills are unequaled in beauty. That's a super chat. £2. I guess that's for your EE money. So I'll send you that £2.
Yeah, send me that £2 earlier. I'll make sure I get it. I think you might have missed one, didn't you? You got £5 earlier as well, I think, didn't you?
Did I? Oh, well, I'm just scrolling. Oh, yeah, there is one just there. Hold on. This is a small contribution. Buy these minis and paint them lol, says Charlie Marino. Oh, thank you, Charlie. I will. I will happily do that. Thank you very much. Josh Cole says the armored Thranduil on foot is horrible, and considering he's usually the centerpiece of your army, it's just a shame. The unarmored ones are decent for fine cast. Nathan T says I'd watch Aragorn wander around the mud for 4 hours. Wouldn't we all? Chico Carino says the expert kit thing is because the resin is more toxic. Oh, yeah. Maybe that is it. And maybe is what you said earlier about the toxic thing. And Charlie's cut.
It's toxic.
Yeah. Thank you, Charlie.
I've been sucking on it before I paint them.
I don't think that's how you meant to.
That explains a lot.
I know. Yeah. Josh Crosby. I don't think they'll stop selling the current Forge World models. I meant that I don't think new models are coming out in resin except for the models they already started. But they have just released quite a lot of new Forge World models, Josh. So I'm not. I still don't quite agree with you there. I'm paying.
There's a lot of.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go on.
I should say it's that's not even just MESBG. There's a lot of systems in the specialist games where basically they release the main stuff in plastic and all the auxiliary stuff comes out in Forge resin. They don't seem to be slowing that down.
That's true. Johnny Apocalypse said he's painting 30 Rohan foot. Yes, he did say that earlier. I asked about it. You should wear a mask if you cut and sand it, apparently, for Forge World. I didn't know that. It probably does say that.
I've been not doing that for years and I'm not dead.
I'm not dead yet. But there's probably a massive tumor growing inside my lungs that I don't know about. I agree, Harry. Love for the Rings of Power. Yeah, see? And then Johnny says, don't like Rings of Power.
There you go.
Straight after.
That is it's a follow. I like that. Battle Camper, I think he might be EE calling it a night. Well, and then he got some money, so it's all fine. Personally, I'm finding Rings of Power entertaining, says Manic Tea Drinker, who's just commented for the first time, I think. There are some things about it that I'm not fond of, but I keep looking forward to next week's episode. I think I am on that page.
I could have typed that.
Yeah, I agree. Karna, you're all understanding how cool anime is with kids and teens these days. Underestimating, sorry. Yeah, maybe it is. Don't let Harry convince you he has a live and let live attitude to Rings of Power. Behind the scene, the mask slips, says Battle Camper. I agree with Karna.
Battle Camper has no vested interest in the conversation.
No, clearly. Iwing agrees about the underestimating the anime thing. That's interesting. Galadriel was such a horrific version of that character that it turned me off completely. But she's got to become the character in the films. That otherwise it would just be boring Galadriel, giving people ropes and mini daggers. She has to have an arc. Otherwise, she'd just be boring and Galadriel the whole way.
I think 5 seasons of Lord of the Rings Galadriel would be pretty dull.
Yeah, it would. That's what I mean. Like, if you got Lord of the Rings Galadriel the whole time, giving people
ropes around, giving people advice and presents.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to get to that wise lady at some point. Carnate says, I think that's the new film's main appeal to BH. If you don't like anime at school in the UK, you're considered a weirdo. Really? I'm really out of touch with school.
Well, when I went to school in the UK, if you did like anime, you were a weirdo.
You were a weirdo, yeah, exactly. But hey, I was also called, I think I mentioned it yesterday, I was called a briefcase wanker a lot when I was growing up because I had the GW case in my locker. Carnate says, at least from what I can gather from my young relatives. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Lol, fellas, love. If you really like Rings of Power, you do you. I agree, it is great that there's new Lord of the Rings content being created. That's wholesome internet content. See, that's what I want to hear, Charlie.
Thank
thank you. Yeah, live and let live. I think Rings of Power.
He's just added your name to a list.
I'm gutted. I don't like it, says Josh Coles. Glad others do. I just can't enjoy it. It just doesn't feel right to me. Something's off. Fair enough. You can think Rings of Power is shit. It's okay to be wrong, says Nathan. See, there's a lot of opinions about this. Alex is talking sense this time. That is rare. I assume that was about Rings of Power, but I'm not sure. Looks like Haleth did an AMA. Is that in
must be a reference to
the sword thing, because the sword fell out while filming, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, happy Hobbit Day, by the way, says Charlie Marino. Happy Hobbit Day to everyone else. I'm happy to watch Rings of Power. It's Lord of the Rings on TV, but don't have any illusions about its failings. Yeah, with you there. Evening all, says Jonathan Booth. Been listening to Entmu all day whilst painting up my Angmar orcs. And you get more now.
My sympathies.
Yeah, apologies for that. Tom Maynard says, Warg attack Theoden is rearing, isn't he? Yes.
Other models are rearing, just not the ones that Alex.
I really appreciate you coming to my aid, Thomas, but I was just wrong. I don't.
Yeah. You were definitely talking about the 20-year-old metal.
I was, yeah. I can't duck that one.
Josh says, really like the foot model for Haleth, and again appreciate another different looking horse. Okay, I'm buying it, all of it. You've convinced me. Johnny Apocalypse, Theoden is rearing slightly. I have him in front of me. Yeah, he is. I think he's more jumping over something.
Racing.
Yeah, racing. Yeah, but yeah. Karnak said, I once said I disliked Rings of Power, and Harry appeared out of a bush, punched me in the face, and stole my wallet.
I believe that. Yeah, I believe that completely. I mean, Conrad, he would have stolen your wallet anyway, but the punch was because of the Rings of Power thing.
Very good. Thank you. Frederick says, neither Hera nor Helm in the starter box, but maybe they wanted terrain in the box. They have their own Rohan houses, and they couldn't make a Helm's Deep terrain starter kit with the other heroes. Helm's Deep terrain kit. Yeah, maybe that's it. That's exactly what Damien said. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Can you imagine if they did it? I don't think they will, but
to do a
plastic Helm's Deep would fly.
That would be
even just the deep in wall. You know, the other one, which is beautiful and is pretty much useless. Just a flat deep in wall, just long modular sections of deep in wall. They fly, surely.
Yeah. But a lot of people would buy that. You would buy a lot of them for your magazine. I know that much.
I've got a Helm's Deep, done it. Finished it.
Yeah, that's true.
Minas Tirith, that's what I need. If anyone's got a massive 4x4 Minas Tirith, that's what we need.
That's true. Maybe we'll get a second box at Cavalry, says Nathan. It seems unlikely, but other GW games have gone with a fast cycle of boxes now. I mean, to be fair, this is a fairly quick follow-on from Osgiliath. It's only been 2 years, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't think they knew about it. That's my gut feeling.
Yeah, I think
they released Osgiliath before they knew about this. I think that would make sense.
Yeah. Yes. Hera's Deep. I
there
know
you go. He gets it.
Lol, Damien saying exactly why I wrote my comment. Yeah. Free Laugh, Freaker, and that potential orc in the trailer are other new potential plastic heroes. Yeah.
Well, Freylaugh's got a massive part to play in it, so I'm fairly certain we'll get Freylaugh for sure.
Yeah. I don't know who Freylaugh's is, but
I don't know if I can say who he is without spoiling it for people.
Let's play it safe.
Yeah, all right. Don't play it safe. Yeah, that's fair enough. Frederick Schultz says, I know by having Fireforge Cav Minis and Forge World Dunland Cav, and then saw Helm Source looking the same. Okay. The dog, she's gone. Lol. The dog, she's gone now, lol. Your dog, is Key all right? Is that what that noise is?
I think it was me opening the fridge. I think he was saying it's Key who was cute. Who's looking cute this evening.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Yeah, there she is. Sam Palmer's in. He says, I agree that Royal Guard are more likely to be forged or resin. I can't see the prices dropping from £37.50 for 2 to £28 for 6 like the other plastic mounted boxes.
Royal Guard aren't 37 for 2, are they?
It's they're like 12 quid each or something like that. Yeah.
But it's still a ridiculous amount.
They're fantastically expensive, but
and fantastically shit as well.
It's £37.50 for 3 rather than for 2, I believe. Yeah,
but you're paying, like I said, you're paying for your horses.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Don't. This is too sore a subject.
Yeah, it is pretty poor that. But yeah, I'd love for that to be the case that we get some new ones, but it just doesn't feel likely. Let's just put them on the screen for a bit.
Why? It makes me physically sick.
It's one. I tend, as you know, I tend to be fairly. I don't know what the word is. Blasé about the
like a shill. You're fairly shilly. Yeah.
Huge shill.
GW fanboy. That's
I buy whatever they give me. I don't
How dare he enjoy things?
Which is why I bought one of the Angmar releases. But on this, it's the only one that truly doesn't make sense to me. Just when you look at the guys on foot, which are they still like 15 quid?
Like 12 quid or something like that.
Free?
Yeah. They're not on here.
And then you're paying 20 quid for 3 horses, and
I can't find it.
And it's obviously it's a system somewhere designed based on box size. I reckon probably comes into it or something, and the size of the thing they're selling you.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious. It's the only price that I really find objectionably offensive.
Yeah, fair enough. Frederick says, wasn't there a thing about GW wanting no more new resin because of some environmental recycling tax? Oh, maybe that was it. Maybe that's what. Who was it who was saying that? I forget the comments, but someone was saying that, wasn't it? Yeah, okay, maybe it's that. Frederick's enjoying Rings of Power, doing Big Orc. Okay. Johnny Apocalypse, you can have an arc without being utterly unlikable. Haha.
That's like Alex.
Yeah. I guess she's not the most likable character in the world, but
she's a bit silly as well. She's been a bit silly in the last episode.
Yeah, she has been a bit silly. Yeah, I can see your point there. She's not. By no means it's perfect.
I think she's a bit unlikable. I don't think she's utterly unlikable.
Yeah, she's a little bit she's just a bit bitter and kind of, I don't know. She's a bit jaded and she's been through rough times and all that. So I feel,
I'm a bit bitter and jaded though, so I kind of empathise with her.
And you are utterly unlikable, to be fair. So
exactly. There you go. It happens.
When are you going to complete your arc, Damien?
I think I'm finished. I think this is
Sam says Rings of Power
is a sequel.
Big step up in quality and it's getting close to the PJ Films look. Let's see how this season ends and if it gets better in season 3. Yeah, I agree. Frederick says Briefcase Wanker sounds like another Alex Harry YouTube special activity. Frederick, you probably don't get the reference, Briefcase Wanker. That was an In-Betweeners gag, which is a British comedy series from the early 2000s. It was very, very amusing. Johnny Apocalypse, I always thought Legolas stole Aomer's sword, thus explaining why it fell out and why Legolas had it later on. Maybe.
He's got generic Rohan sword later on, as he doesn't have Aomer's sword.
Nathan says, I hope there's more to buy and release than just the starter box. I think there will. There's got to be, surely. Frederick, could you imagine Lockie going crazy with a plastic helm's deep? It would be stupidly massive. I think he would build the biggest YouTubing board in history, wouldn't he? Something like that. We love Lockie. We love Lockie. We really do love Lockie. But,
to be fair to him, he is building the largest board I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's it. You can't argue with the results. They are absolutely colossal.
Yeah, they are colossal. I would love to see him build a stupidly massive helmstick.
He's got the Minister if I want. It's just on the wrong side of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And
go on.
No, I was going to say something of little to no value, so you just crack on.
Oh no, you got to say it now, and then we can judge that.
Well, no, because I don't want to. It's weird. The problem is,
I'm getting ready to say this was of little to no value.
I know, and I don't want to give you that satisfaction. I don't want to give you that satisfaction. In addition, the more you ask me to say it, obviously, the more the expectation increases, and so the further I've got to fall. So I would just refuse. I mean, it's your stream we're messing up. So
it's fine. It's fine. All right, let's go with Brad2749. He says he likes Rings of Power, although it's slow. But do you guys really see yourself watching back 5 seasons of 1 hour long episodes? Game of Thrones rewatchability is clear. Well, I rewatched the first season and really enjoyed that second time around, and I did watch Game of Thrones back a lot, but a lot of people say the last season has stopped them doing that of Game of Thrones. So who knows if the seasons are going to get better as they go along? I think it's more likely I'll rewatch them than.
It's a good question, but I rewatched it. I've only gone back. I watched it twice. I'd watch every episode twice when season 1 was on. Like twice a week, just to see it twice, whatever. And I went back to it before season 2, so I rewatched it, 2 years later, and enjoyed it again. And I think I'll do the same with season 2. But I don't think I liked Game of Thrones. I don't think I like going back to one of them any more than the other. I don't see any reason I wouldn't go back to Rings of Power in the same way I went back to Game of Thrones, personally.
Yeah, I've watched Game of Thrones a lot on repeat, but
it's because it's on TV. It's on TV. You come across it on TV and it's there, and you put it on late at night. Whereas this
I think I'm not saying that I dislike or definitely not hate and not even necessarily dislike Rings of Power. I've only seen the first episode of the last season, but I enjoyed it. But I think if you start trying to compare the quality of the writing in the only scenes of Game of Thrones, which was just so compelling. Like if you could get to that level of writing in Rings of Power, it'd be great. But I don't think I just think it's chalk and cheese at the moment.
Yeah. I do think I think they are different because the scale of this is much bigger, but the writing perhaps isn't quite as good.
Also, Game of Thrones was based on very, very good source material, whereas Rings of Power is based on a synopsis.
Yeah.
I thought you were like, it's based on trash. It's these shit books that like.
It is fan fiction. Fan fiction is not an offensive term for it. It's like a biblical story, isn't it? There's no dialogue. It's just this happened, then this happened, then this happened, and they've had to make up the words for it. Whereas, don't praise Game of Thrones for its writing. Praise George R. R. Martin for its writing. For the first
and
four
George R. Martin. I mean, he wrote a lot of the episodes as well. To be fair, Brad too. Oh, so that's the same one. Wavering towards the Hillmen being my favourite thing in this box. They're awesome. Hillmen.
That's what they're called, mate. They're not called Dunlendings.
Are they not?
They're called. I think they're called Hill Tribesmen, I believe.
And it says they've been designed so that they could stand in as your Dunlendings.
Yeah. Do you know what? We didn't talk about that. That is a fantastic
you know what?
sentence.
That's a really good point. And let me just get that
called
back on the
Hill
screen.
Tribesmen. And the line is, if you wish to build your army around the events of the Lord of the Rings, the Hill Tribesmen have been sympathetically designed to serve as Wildmen of Dunland.
That's really interesting. So they're kind of they're not actually Dunlanding warriors. They're actually something else.
Well, this must be what they're called in the film. In the film, they look like this, and they're called Hill Tribesmen.
That's cool. Yeah, I'd not picked up on that line, but that is a really good point.
That to me. I know we haven't done the whole new edition and what it means and all that. I would think that little paragraph there, if I'd be looking at those metal wild men and thinking,
oh yeah, they're dead. Surely those metal wild men. Yeah.
If you want them, I'd be getting them. I think.
Yeah.
That says to me these are, and you'd want these because these are better than wild men, right?
I think as soon as you see these and the old metal wild men, as even a completist like me would be like, yeah, there's no point. I'm just going to keep because they're the same model. These are just far better.
And plastic.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's interesting. Really good spot though. I hadn't spotted into that. Thanks, Casey, for flagging that up. Carnate, non-spoiler. Freeleaf is Helm's nephew. Freeleaf, sorry. Damien, I'm all in for a 4x4 Minas Tirith. Yeah.
What, you're going to build it for me? Does that mean?
Yeah, do it.
His profile looks just like Theoden's horse. You know,
rearing up. Grimdark Future.
Make one little mistake.
Dedicated Kiwi cam, absolutely. Middle Earth and Mercia, MESBG podcast. Supposedly they're meant to be wanting to move away from resin releases by the end of 2025. Yeah, a few people have said this now, haven't they? It's been the case for 40k, Sigmar, Old World, and notably Horus Heresy, all moved away from resin. Yeah. I mean, I suppose, but they said that about metal, and yet there are still a lot of metal miniatures in circulation. So
it's only Middle Earth, though, right?
Old World have brought back a load of metal stuff recently. You're right. I still think they're going to hold on to that stuff as long as they can. There you go, put dog on camera. To give Rings of Power some love, they did the dwarves very well. I think the dwarves are great. I don't really like the Khazad Guard guys, but other than that, the ones with really silly helmets.
Good music as well.
Yeah, the music's fantastic. It's been great. One of the worst parts of Rings of Power for me is how silly and stupid the elves are. Yeah, I think I said this to you, Damien, the other day, didn't I? The panic in the last episode of the elves being sort of invaded, and they're all like stumbling over each other like they're bloody Minas Tirith warriors.
Right. He's put the second part of that sentence that you didn't read there is my least favourite thing about it, the Silmaril tree thing.
And the whole weird Silmaril elf-like
that's my least favourite thing about it. Like,
I don't know what that is.
Well, the whole one of the main themes throughout the whole thing is that an elf fought a Balrog and put their magic into a tree, and that's what made Mithril, and that's why the Mithril can save the elves.
Okay, yeah. Is that not from the lore then?
No, it's just metal.
It's just metal.
It's just metal, mate.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I think the tree had a Silmaril in it as well. The tree had a Silmaril in it, and lightning struck the Silmaril, and then that caused the mitochondrions to pour down through the mountain and become Mithranium. And
I like all that stuff. I think that makes sense.
It's just metal. It's just metal.
Yeah, but metal. It makes a lot more sense for the metal to be super magic metal that can save the elves, because otherwise, the rings out of it.
Christ. I tell you what, the worst thing about Rings of Power is
even if you like it, you can disagree.
Yeah, exactly. Go on. What were you saying, Alex? Is it the worst thing that that you end up having to listen to me talking about it? Is that right?
Yes, it is. I could tolerate the show, but the fucking endless.
I like talking about it.
Are we going to argue? Are we now going to have to argue about whether or not it's good to talk about Rings of Power?
Yeah, I think it's great to talk about, Alex. For God's sake, stop trying to silence us.
Talk about things, isn't it?
What are we here for?
Great.
It's
great. No, Damien. It's. I'd have this conversation with you because I've not had this conversation with you before. But this is the same conversation I've had with Harry, or observed him having it with John or his chat.
I've watched
endless times.
Yeah, he's watched it. All right, Carnate. Also, the constant reposting a book and movie quotes in places that makes no sense. Yeah, but that. They do that in the Hobbit film, and that's annoying. They just they copy and paste quotes from the Lord of the Rings film and put them into the Hobbit series, and I didn't really like that either. So I
agree with him a bit there. I think it has been a bit clumsy in season 2. Bit kind of like you're seeing what I think is a very, very good, completely original, invented scenes with characters you've never heard of, and then it's like they go, "Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Do you remember this? Do you remember it? Do you remember it?"
Yes. Yeah. I'll give you that. Yeah. But they did that a lot in the Hobbit films, and I don't like the Hobbit films as much as I like the Rings of Power. But that's just me. Anyway, cinematography is nice. Carnate says. Nathan says, "I wonder if Damien could get the new Rohan painted in time for the Fantasy Fellowship to reach Rohan."
I'm quite sure I can.
Nathan says, "I watched season 1 twice a week, then did an all-day watch in August. Watching season 2 twice a week too. So a lot of people are loving it, Alex."
So that's what. At no point have I said I don't like Rings of Power or fuck Rings of Power or anything. All I've said was that you seem militant about proselytizing to people about Rings of Power, and even that isn't necessary.
Oh no, you got muted. Oh, what a shame. How did that happen?
I thought it was good to talk about things, wasn't it?
Yeah, only when it's my opinion.
I've
right, that's it, Alex.
Button wielded like that.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm going to put you underneath the comments as well, Alex.
But it won't be coming back on your podcast.
Yeah. This straight from the Zorba's Discord. Lockie is building Helm's Deep as we speak. I don't think you're meant to reveal that sort of stuff because that's only for patrons. But that is exciting. And that was truly awful. No idea what Dave's tweeting's talking about. I bet Harry loved the midichlorians.
They're talking about the Mithril.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I bet Harry loved midichlorians too. Isn't that something to do with the Force from Star Wars?
They turned it into, from the Phantom Menace, they turned it. God, I'm not a big Star Wars fan. I can't remember which way. They turned it into science instead of magic, which people didn't like.
Oh, okay. I like the sound of it being scientific, but anyway, I quite like the first Star Wars trilogy, so that's just me. I'm not doing this just to annoy people either. It's genuinely the only good thing that can go on.
I was just say, but you're right about that one. So I can't believe you have actually put me back under the icon.
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
one of us has got to be there, right?
Yeah,
I'm in the naughty base. One of us does, Damien, but I noticed that one of us is always either you or me. It's never Harry.
I did briefly have it.
Oh, don't defend him. That's a really bad precedent.
If you're going to bitch and moan, I'm going to put myself under it.
I am going to bitch and moan.
Okay, the only good thing that comes from Rings of Power is a possible Last Alliance update. Hey, we're back.
But that's just like this, right?
The conversation
surely that's a good thing. Say if they did Rings of Power and you hated it, but you got a Last Alliance update, that's a good thing.
Exactly. I agree. From underneath this thing. Charlie says, I did build 2 wall sections of Minas Tirith, sent them to Lockie down in Australia back in the day. I think we could pull a Minas Tirith background model for sure. Oh, amazing. Yes, yeah, get a return on it. Frederick says, if they make the Dark Wizard an early evil Saruman, that would be even worse than the Song of the Roots of the Hithalgirs thing.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I don't want him to be Saruman.
No, I don't either. Carnate, Harry, Damien, and other, if you could have one hero kit and one troop updated to class... And other. I didn't even pick up on that. Excellent work from Carnate there.
I heartily disagree.
That is a good question, though.
Oh,
It'll put on topic. If you can have one hero kit and one troop updated,
what a shit question.
What would it be? What would
presumably by updated to plastic, it can be an existing plastic kit, right? Updated. It doesn't have to be something that's not in plastic.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You can do what you want. It's you're answering. I think I would probably like some Khazad Guard of some sort, not the Rings of Power style, but I would like a Khazad Guard style dwarves with bulkiness and heft, and as a hero to go with it. I don't know. I actually probably wouldn't get. I think I'd probably go for LSR as the hero, not to go with it. Obviously. Yeah, I think we need a new plastic LSR because that's
definitely do. Yeah.
Although then on the evil side, I'd probably go with just generic orcs and Sauron.
Yeah. Good shout there. Do I get to answer as the other, or
Damien goes first because he was prioritised by Carnage.
Because he was given a name. Yeah, fair play.
Maybe just because I'm into it, maybe Hobbits, a kind of multi-part Hobbit kit.
That was going to be my second choice. Actually, I've just looked at
where you could swap all the arms and swap the heads.
Really good shout. Yeah,
it's great.
Or anything fine cast or resin now. So like Lake Town Guard or Gundabad's or something like that. That would probably be it. And then the plastic wood elves are the ones that I'd most like to see updated. Like as a kind of improvement one.
Yeah, we could do with some really nice. And it's funny, neither of us have said. None of us have said elves, have we? So that's interesting.
And I think
none of us. No, none of us. And famously, all of us have had the opportunity to answer so far. So.
All right, Alex, go on. What do you want? What
no, he hasn't got a name, and I haven't done my hero.
Yeah, go on. What's your hero? Sorry, David.
I think I'm genuinely might agree with you. I think I might say Elisar. Yeah, and do you know what? I'd want him rearing up, just like Theoden and
Helm Hammerhand.
What's the other? Helm Hammerhand. Thank you.
At least I had the decency to concede the point at the first opportunity.
That pose, where he puts the sword up. That's the pose.
Yeah, it's got to be that, hasn't it?
I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I agree. Other, would you like to say yours?
Hi, I'm Alex. I think. Certainly agree with Wood Elves. I think. Or Galadrim actually as well. I would love to get some new Galadrim. But I would, and it's really, really obvious, but Rivendell Elves is the warriors, just because they would look amazing, rendered properly with some dynamism and some variety. As for heroes, Sauron definitely up there. Elisar, I'm not massively interested in a Minas Tirith army, but just so iconic. It's so necessary.
He feels like in the heroes they've done, he feels like he's next, doesn't? You know what I mean? He feels like
does, yeah.
Well, I was told by someone who is usually very reliable on this sort of rumor that Elisar and Plastic Boromir were next, and they have releases and they're ready. But whether that's all been held off by this, I don't know, or whether that was just porkies, I don't know. But I think that because Boromir would have been my second choice for hero because we haven't got a Plastic Boromir. Which is mad, except the really, really rubbish one from the Mines of Moria.
Or Frodo, Sam, and Gollum. We didn't get those.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's true. And that seems like another obvious.
And I'd also, looking at these guys here on the screen and then looking at the Rohan, what about just the humble Mordor orc?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Plastic Mordor orc.
I'm so desperate. Yeah.
More like the metals, but in plastic. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
And orcs, orcs, just generic orcs must show up in the most armies.
Yeah.
More than any other, so it would improve the look of so many different armies.
That was my choice. That was my choice. Yeah.
All right, Jesus. We're all stepping on Harry's choice here.
I think I might have been deep in thought because I missed you saying that.
I did say that. Yeah.
Don't. We've just got to be very careful not to agree with Harry in future because he takes it quite badly.
I feel like I've wandered into a battle campar, cast it into the fire, Entmu existing war, and I'm just the peacemaker here. I know. Imagine
the things you could have done with your Sunday. You could have been spending time with your family, doing some painting, and you're here.
I chose not to. I went to see Emma, and I heard, how I streamed with Harry for 6 hours last night. You went, can I do it again tonight? This is a starter set. The only thing I wanted to do with my night is be here and talk excitedly about these new exciting things with you people.
Yeah, and bless her, she said yes, which is very lovely of her. And I had the same conversation with my 37-week pregnant wife. No, 39-week pregnant wife. Sorry.
See, that's the great thing about having no human companion. If you can just spend your time however you like, which is often either drunk or in tears. So it's great.
Was Key all right with it? When you asked Key, was she all right with
it? She did a very large fart. I'm yet to really interpret that in any kind of reliable way, but.
Well, there you go. I think it's time to move on to some more comments. So Nathan, this time, Harry's going to suffer a vicious edit next time he's on Into the Fire, if I get invited back at all. Frederick says, is Lockie building a Helm's Deep that has to be a massive promo video? Oh yeah, it could be. To be fair, Lockie revealed that plan some time ago on a video. Yeah, he probably did. I'm sure he did. The original trilogy plot was just super boring. Random idiot space farmer dude becomes super alpha weight space wizard hero and defeats the bad guys. Wow, super crazy. Is that Star Wars? I think that is Star Wars.
I don't hugely disagree with that, to be honest.
No, well, that's what I mean. I don't like the original trilogy.
Prequel trilogy all the way.
No, I actually enjoy them more. Although the acting is significantly worse. Although not that much worse than Mark Hamill. Nathan T says, Lockie will probably make 50 videos telling us he's making Helm's Deep before he starts anyway. There's a bit of harsh Lockie stuff here. Lockie makes some incredible content, and I'm sure we're all doing it.
As someone who's like made content over the years and has made scenery, I genuinely watch his like 10-minute videos, and my mouth hangs open with how much he's done. I know he does it full time, but literally, I just sit there going, I don't know how you had time to make that, let alone film it, let alone edit it. It's just
I look at what I've done in a year, and I'm like, oh, I've painted those 4 models, and I've built and sprayed that kit there. And he's like, oh, I've made this tower. It's like 12 feet tall, and you can play like 3 different game systems on it. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
a lot.
Indeed.
He's a good egg. A good egg.
Shout up. JK Alex says carne and a heart emoji.
It's too late for that.
Yeah, Master Ball says, very exciting, all this new stuff. What a time to be alive. Bad timing for me, you, though, Harry, with babies on the way. I'm sure we can find some spare funds. Yeah, I'm squirreling away pound coins as we speak, so that they don't raided for
150 of them.
Yeah, for nappies and stuff like that. Johnny says Mounted Gilgalad and Royal Guard would be his choice, plus Anarion. A new Boromir and Knights would be a pick for me, I think. Oh no, Zorfa's Up's in. Good evening, Damien, Harry, and other.
All right, I'm taking back everything I said about his. You're right. He does these videos, and you watch them, and it's like, your eyes are closing, you're yawning uncontrollably, and by the end, you've just got some worthless piece of shit and whatever he's built. Jesus.
I mean, prior to that bit, thank God we were nice about him.
Yeah, thank God, thank God. We do genuinely live his work. Yeah, glad to see you well. And
stop flashing it. Stop flashing the comments on screen. Stop it.
Just to flag
We've seen it enough.
Yeah. Nathan says, hadn't thought about Gundabad's actually. What have I started? Says Carnate. Very good. Multi-part Hobbit kit. How small would those parts be? Think of your bin, Damien. That's a good point. The Master's here, says iWing. Talking about Lockie, I assume. Lockie in this chat, sup brother. At Zorpa's Up, hello, stupidly massive YouTube channel. Nathan T says all this Alex bashing, and JMac hasn't been in to have a go yet. Zorpa's Up, how's the War of the Rohirrim prep going? Ayataria? Is that where he lives? It's definitely a New Zealand place, isn't it? New Uruk-hai, new Sauron. Very good choices. Zorpa's Up says, very, very well, dude. Working on Helm's Deep as I listen. Oh, wow, it's exciting.
I bet it's full size. It's going to be like his height.
Yeah, it's going to be like the size of that one that they actually filmed in, where they could crawl through the doors and stuff. It'll be insane. Yeah. New plastic Build a Pony, please, says Frederick.
Nice.
Lert's Boromir set. That's a great idea.
Alerts would definitely be a big one.
Yeah, Lert's a good shout, actually, because he is... I mean, he must be one of the oldest heroes, because he was... And he hasn't really had any of this.
He's had 3. So
yeah, but they're all quite early on.
The one with the sword up is like second month of release. The one with the bow down is like early 2002, and then the really cool one, firing the bow, is about 2007. So he hasn't had one in a while. But the fire in the bow one's amazing.
I think I have that, and I just think I use that as a normal Uruk-hai. But maybe I didn't notice that. Yeah,
sorry. In our private chat, Lockie has apologised to you, Harry, for hijacking the chat, but not to me for the grave insult he's done me.
Oh dear. I'll look at that. Thanks, Lockie. It's okay. You don't need to hijack the chat. Justice for Boromir, Grimdark Future. That's true. My choice for new minis would be Gondor Chiefdoms, especially. I assume that's fiefdoms, especially Dol Amroth with less bulky helmets. Totally in about new LSR. I think the Dol Amroth are really nice.
I never really liked them. They always look like silver helms from Warhammer to me.
What are they? The high elf model?
They're like high elf knights. They never really did it to me as Lord of the Rings aesthetic. But
I really like the design on I like the wings on the helmets. I just love them. But yeah, But I can see that. Nathan, Moria Goblins could be a nice redo, but just because they look too regimented. Yeah, just a bit more dynamism because they're so crittery, aren't they? They crawl everywhere and all that sort of stuff. So that'd be good.
That's exactly where I feel. And I know I'm in the minority here. I know that, and I know this isn't rational, but genuinely, I think I've got 52 painted Moria Goblins, and if they released new ones, I'd just be annoyed.
Yeah,
I'll be like, I don't want to spend money on them, and I don't want to paint anymore, but they're obviously better, and I just feel quite conflicted about that, you know.
I sympathise, but I my concern is that's the attitude that's going to stop.
It's only for me, right? That's only for.
But I don't think it is. I don't think it's just for you. I get it completely, and I worry. But why worry is that's what's going to slow down sales of these models, and therefore we're not going to ever get new models. I mean, Moria Goblins is one of those ones where I think it's more needed in a way than things like Rohan because the details are so small.
But say
with modern technology,
if you have no Moria Goblins painted, it's the opposite feeling. I don't want these crappy old Moria Goblins. I want new Moria Goblins.
Yeah,
so
it's tricky. Yeah. I think I'm actually. I think we have a complete kaleidoscope of opinion on Moria Goblins here because I have about 50 Moria Goblins painted, but I painted them very, very basically because I did them like in the Battle Games of Middle Earth style. I just painted them red, did the quick highlight, bish bash bosh, done. And left them on I kind of, and then some of them I improved from what I got them second hand. So they were kind of painted badly with red and they gave them a wash and highlighted them again. And so I've kind of given some old ones a glow up, but I'd love some new proper ones that are a bit more dynamic and interesting. So, because even those metal ones they did in the made to order, I didn't go for the made to order, but I got one of the metal ones and that was really nice. I use them as a captain, but yeah, I'd definitely go for that if they came back. But anyway, good shout, Nathan. Thanks for flagging it up. There's a couple of people interacting with Zorpazorp. Josh Crosby says if they update the orcs, they must keep the beak helmet, or better still, give them all that helmet. Yeah, I agree. That beak helmet is awesome.
Or just have it as an option.
No human companion nearly ended Damien. That is true.
It did. I enjoyed that a lot.
Drunk or in tears, the life of the other. Love it. It's very good, says Carney.
He's added the other to it, which makes it
Makes it sound like some kind of like demon creature lurking in the shadows.
It's the colonial view of the kind of Eastern, non-European, isn't it? It's the unknown other.
Yeah, exactly. New plastic foot and mounted Gilgalad with plastic box of high elves would be the dream. Agree on the standard orcs, though, giving you the load of options to make them look different with weapon options. Totally agree. Carney says we love Zorp. Zorp interacts with people on the chat. Then he says, "Oh man, the regret on roasting Alex is real." Oh, you don't need to regret it.
For fuck's sake.
Lockie is responsible for many of us getting back into MESBG. I love his stuff, Master Ball. Yeah, I think that's very true of a lot of us. Actually, he certainly made me want to do more sort of stuff for YouTube and things like that.
I mean, a genuine negative on him though is he was my channel only had like 16 views and 3 subscribers when he somehow stumbled across it and very kindly plugged it. So you probably wouldn't even know me. We'd never have met. You'd be a happier, more content and fulfilled man if it wasn't for Lockie.
It's true. That is a thing that I can thank Lockie for, is that I wouldn't know and get along relatively well with Alex if it wasn't for Lockie. So,
you can't say nice things now. It was too far gone.
Well, I thought I did. I should have used that as an opportunity for a joke, but you kind of already done that. So they're nice.
I don't regret getting to know you, Alex.
No.
Oh, Damien, that's a lovely thing. That's the nicest thing that anyone, including my parents and brothers, ever said to me. So.
Oh, that's I think you're a nice guy. Forget what everyone else says.
Yeah, don't listen to them. don't read the internet.
Yeah, this is so much worse than the.
They're very
anyway, I can't take the compliments. It's the problem.
Zorpazorp says, "There it is." Ha 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 ha. He says, and then people are starting talking to Zorpazorp. Johnny says, "Zorpazorp inspired me to build a fort out of matchsticks. I've not finished it yet. A fort. Didn't the Swan Knights have a previous design that went away very quickly? Yeah, they were really flat. They were kind of very, very flat. And the Forger ones are far better. 3D Games is in. Hello. I didn't realize this was happening. Hey guys. Well, we did. I think we decided at 6 o'clock to do this, or maybe 5, because of the announcement. It was very exciting at the time. Damien it's the same with the new Rohan. I'm painting tons of Rohan and we'll definitely be painting new ones too. Variety is the spice of life.
No, that's cool. I like you can take it positively and not be sort of annoyed by it. That's cool.
Damien, I think we've had all different spellings of Damien this evening, by the way. We've had an O, an E,
I don't
and an
normally
A.
get the O-N.
No.
A lot of E-N. The O-N's unusual, so I appreciate it. It's good.
Damien, I've just painted my Rohan Warriors. Then they do this, so I
did AM as riders for Throwing Skulls last year, didn't I? So I did I painted another 10 for that. I've got like 30 of them. So if they release new riders,
And if anyone hasn't seen Damien's Riders of Airmare display from Throwing Skulls last year, definitely go check it out because it was superb.
It was
absolutely superb.
Half of it's up there.
I was going to say the
you're all on my phone. I can't. You're all just sort of blurs to me, I'm afraid.
I have around 2,000 points of Galadrim, but if a new box gets released...
Galadrim! Why is everyone doing this?
Sorry,
Galadrim. Let it go when Alex did it. It's Galadrim.
Galadrim gets released. I think but see, that's something I don't like about Rings of Power is the forced kind of...
they haven't nailed it. They've not nailed it.
You just
think between overly rolling your R's and just saying the word.
Mordor. It's like you don't need to do that every time. Just call it Mordor. It's fine. But yeah, Galadrim. But if a new box gets released, I think I'm redoing that whole army. I know I was in the minority, but I instantly replaced my court guard with the Forge World ones. I did buy some and then just didn't do anything with them because I had at the time I was building a lot. I had a Lothlorien army I was kind of using, and then I just didn't. I just stopped, and then that was that. So yeah, they are quite nice models. Alex is all right. I'm looking. Says Nathan. I'm looking forward to seeing him again. I'm looking forward to seeing him again at Imps. He says, very good.
I've just been. I won't reveal the culprit, but I've just been messaged by someone saying pronunciation snobbery unbecoming.
Very good. Very good. Battle Camper's my fave channel, says Johnny. Nathan says 3 dots. We skipped it. I read it out. I read it out like it was on screen briefly.
Thank you very much.
It's all, to be fair, it is also one of my favourite.
It's a brilliant channel.
I feel uncomfortable when we aren't unanimously roasting Alex, to be honest. Yeah, I agree. Battle Camper.
For some reason, I do too.
Is mine too. Johnny says up is up. Yeah. In good company. I'd love a new Thranduil. The Finecast ones are a bit odd looking. It's a shame the Forge World didn't come with a foot option as well as a mounted one. I had a dream about New Mordor, says Carnate, with that one who snarls in The Last Alliance. What a sad life.
Sorry, so just very briefly on that Thranduil point. Does anyone get that when there's a really beautiful mount and a not beautiful dismount? It's the opposite of what we were talking about earlier when you kind of want your guy to be dismounted because the dismount's really beautiful. Yes. It's awful when you've got this gorgeous mounted model and you lose the mount. And you know that the worst punishment, worse than having lost that tactical benefit, is then having to swap it out for an ugly dismount. It's awful.
I always felt that with Beorn. I think actually both models, but particularly one where he's on the axe, is a beautiful model. And then when there was only the one bear, everyone turned him into the bear turn 1, and you never got to use that beautiful little model.
Yeah, and I don't think the bear's as nice as the foot model, is it? Frederick says Galadrim. Yeah, it's brilliant. I also wonder if we'll get a new Mimikil model as they're featured quite heavily. We did talk about that, Jonathan, earlier, but I know you joined late, so that's fine. Yeah, I doubt it. But someone mentioned a kit, didn't they? An upgrade kit, which could be interesting. Frederick says Mordor. Zorpazop, if you combine our powers, you can convince him to make an Irish trip in the near future, says Johnny. Yeah, I'm sure Alex will go to Ireland and go to... Although, actually, you did plan to go to Ireland and you never went in the end, did you?
I did, and I didn't. And I'm still planning to go.
Alex, your most recent video is thoroughly enjoyable. More like that, please. That was the one that we were talking about earlier, which did very well. 40K.
Yeah, it did. You said there'll be more.
Sell out.
I can't even argue.
Other has been my favourite game I've ever had. Battle Camp is my top 17, and I include Brian Adams. Says Nathan.
I'll take that.
Is that top 17 what? Is that just top 17?
Top 17
I think top 17
things ever.
I must be in his top 17 camping / wargaming YouTube channels.
Yeah, I think that's probably
just be in Nathan's top 17. If that includes like his kid, his wife, like bowl of a soup, like food. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, 17's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Alex is quite all right, and I still don't know what Zorpazop means, says Charlie. And we got 2 more comments left. Are we still wish on new models? A new Balrog that isn't a pain to move around. Read when build with whip in the game would be lovely. Yeah, I think I know what you're getting at. It is really a pain to move that Balrog around. The tail is the wrong place. The whip gets tangled up on stuff. It always gets caught on stuff. Yeah, I've played with it recently. It's actually a bit.
There's not much you can do about that, though. Is
it? It's a lovely model. It's a really nice plastic, so I can't It's a shame because I rarely use my elk Thrangel model, as I think he's better on foot. And Damien's nailed it. And that is all the comments so far. So, I mean, so I guess the next thing is to just kind of round things off, I suppose, because we've nearly done 3 hours and I wasn't expecting to do that long.
That's nearly less than half of what I hoped for.
Yeah. I see what you did. You did there.
Good.
But I mean, I think this has been a really good sort of release. I don't think we've touched on release date, or we did a little bit of December, the start of December. But I guess the next thing is, when are we likely to see more announcements about, what else is going to be coming and how many more things do we think we're going to have? Is it like I think we mentioned the Hera and Helm, and then there might be some more evil stuff, I guess. But do you think we're going to have a string of releases, one a month for the next, or announcement for the next few months, or what do we think, guys? I don't know.
It really depends what's in the film, right? That's what we don't know.
Yeah, I suppose that's tricky. Well, we know there's a Watcher in the Water and a Mummock.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get a new one. I mean, we don't even know again how much that Watcher's in it. But I don't think if it's the Watcher or a Watcher, I don't think you get a new one. Gribbles McSplash Splash is pretty good as it is, I think. But
yeah,
it depends what's in it. I thought my only reading in far too much to a trailer. I think the guys outside Helm's Deep, the Dunlendings. I don't know if they're Dunlendings, if they're Hill Tribesmen. I don't think they look like these guys. So I wonder if there's I wonder if these guys are at the start when Frekka's in charge of them.
Yeah.
With the Helm Hammer Hand. And then I think we might get a time jump of some sort. Whether it's a time jump like a bit more like in the book, or whether it becomes more like the sort of things they do with Rings of Power or Lord of the Rings, where they condense it to be like the next month. I wonder if Wolf's blokes will be different to these blokes, essentially.
So I think that's the interesting question, isn't it? Because yes, the Hill Tribesmen work as Wildmen of Dunland, but the reverse isn't necessarily true, is it? That the Dunland models will fill out a roster of War of the Rohirrim's timed Dunland, and whilst they've basically got a Rohan roster they can use, the same can't be true, therefore, of this. And it's one of the two poster boy armies. So my thinking is, does that mean we're going to get essentially a whole roster's worth of stuff? No, you're going to need a sort of elite troop type, a cavalry troop type, potentially elite cavalry.
It depends, because we do have the Forge World Dunland warriors on horse, don't we already? And we've got some.
That's what I mean. Do they work in that range? Do we think?
I don't know, but I suspect. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think we're likely to see a bit more from this, because it looked like in the trailer that we had mounted armies on both sides, right? So I think we'll at least see some evil cavalry and some good cavalry. And then
we definitely see evil cavalry.
Well, I don't. Well, I thought we did, but I may be wrong. I thought because there's like these people on a hill, isn't there? And they're like a shadow, and they're like mounted on the horses with like.
It might just be good people at night.
You may be right.
You might be right.
They looked a bit evil. They looked a bit evil to me, but maybe you're right. I don't know.
Actually. But it's still, they need to fill. There needs to be a roster of. This is one of the two main forces to sell the game. And if they are trying to bring new players in,
I think it's going to be based.
Not make it up, but even if
we'll be adding stuff now, they might say it's a massive success. They might start adding to it, in 5 years or something. But I don't think they'll. I think now what you'll be getting is what you see in the film, and so they won't be thinking about. Think about like Lake Town or whatever. What do you get? You get survivors of Lake Town. You get Lake Town guards. They haven't got elites. They haven't got knights. Like.
Let me just swap to this tab because this has got the trailer on it. So this is the one I'm going to just zoom in on.
These your evil cavalry guys.
What's his recommended videos?
You've got Chester Bennington. You've got Disney Wishables for some reason. Silmarillion.
For some reason.
I actually don't know how that is weird. It's only got 14 views.
A Gollum audition. Nice.
Yeah, the audition changed cinema forever. Yeah. and then someone becomes a space marine in real life. So I think that's all relatively wholesome stuff. Okay, so let me just...
you got lucky this time.
I did, yeah. So there we go. So we've got... they look like... So we don't have these, do we? Whatever these are. These look evil to me.
Skull helmets on.
Yeah, they've got... So that must be like some kind of...
See, this is what I think I meant. Like the guys that I think...
I thought they were mounted. Yeah, you were totally right, yeah. Let me just have a look, see whether there's anything else.
It's very early on. There's there. That's the shot I meant.
That's the shot I think. That's the shot I was thinking of.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It could be Helm. Actually, that is Helm's helm, isn't it?
That's Helm.
Yeah, that is Helm.
That's goodies at night. That's goodies at night, man.
Goodies at night. Sorry, goodies at night. What is this? This is
what I was talking about. I didn't.
Why these look like Wildmen?
They could be the models, couldn't they?
They look like Wildmen to me.
Yeah.
What else we got? We got Riders. We got whatever these are over here. Mummoks. They look like Mummoks with green fires on. Yeah. Warpstone, did you say?
Skaven riding Mummoks.
That's true. Skaven riding Mummoks.
Heard it here first.
There's the fight bit, which is cool, which is awesome. I think this is the thing that I think we're definitely going to get these. I'd have thought because
Hera.
And this, we're going to have to get Hera like that, aren't we? With her foot and mounted.
I mean, you'll get Hera, but she's in a couple of different outfits. This seems to be like her warrior outfit. So
I think this is the one we'll get personally.
Yeah.
That's the one I noticed in the new poster as well.
Yeah, that's true.
No, she's not in the poster. She's in a dress in the poster.
Eagle.
Yeah,
she's not in sexy leather riding gear in the poster.
And there's this as well. Look, there's this kind of frock that she's wearing here. Frock. And an eagle. Do you think we'll get more eagles?
No.
Could get more eagles.
No,
look at that. I mean, we could get this combo.
Get an eagle and paint it white. You'd be mad to commission an eagle, sure.
I don't know. And then we got the Watcher, of course, and the Watcher stealing a Mummok, which still seems a bit ridiculous. I mean, what's going on there? I don't know.
What's ridiculous about it? You don't think a Watcher could take a Mummok, or?
No, I just think how's this happening, and where, like, because the Watcher's near Moria, right? I don't know.
Maybe he goes on.
Here's the shot that I was.
So maybe he goes on holiday.
Yeah,
are these people riding down the mountain to Helm's Deep? What is this? I don't know.
That is Helm's Deep, isn't it? Because isn't that the siege tower that you see dropping onto the Deeping Wall?
Maybe, yeah. I clearly need to watch this again.
Goodies. That's the bloody hill, isn't it? You know what that's the hill.
That's what I was thinking. Is it the hill? It's the hill that Gandalf and friends ride down, yeah. And then
they cast you as the sun.
And then whatever this is.
I'd melt the snow. Sort that right out.
Someone's talking in this bit. There's a person with a ring, isn't there?
He's like, what's Mordor up to with rings?
Yeah.
Remember this? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
That is very that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
we promise it's in the same canon. We promise.
Yeah, exactly.
Saruman's in it, isn't he?
But that is interesting. Having not looked at the trailer since the sort of the excitement of the initial bit, I think it is that bit that is the. I forgot. I can't get it right. There. I forgot.
I mean, I don't. It's not really spoilery because you know what, if you read the book, but you know what's burning behind them. Like,
is it the Westfold?
No, maybe you don't. All right, I won't say. Maybe you don't know what's burning.
I was going to reread all the appendices to remind myself, and I'd forgotten.
It's only about 3 pages long.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. But I don't want to because it'll be more fresh then. But I do remember.
This is one of my things, like as well. You know, it's even worse than Last Lights. My favourite character in the story is Helm Hammerhand. Is he? Well, the page he's on.
Yeah, the page is pretty good. I do remember this. I do remember the punching bit. That is pretty cool. And the bit about
cool.
the wintry coldness.
Yeah, what happens? It's a cool story. It's a mega story.
Yeah, I'm really glad. Cool. I am so glad that they did this story. It's good.
You've actually missed. There's a couple of shots, cool Helm's Deep shots with like a siege tower dropping on the Deeping Wall and stuff. They're all mega, but I don't think it necessarily means they'll release a siege tower or release.
No, I don't know where it is. I can't find it.
It's towards the end, when it ramps up and you start getting all the battle
quick
shots,
cuts,
all the good stuff.
Yeah,
quick cuts. I can't remember. I'm sure it's all here.
It's in there somewhere. I don't know where.
Big Mummok
chasing Hera.
There it is. Big Mummok chasing Hera. Anyway, so let's just quickly dip into the final comments before we go. Irex says, I'd like Alex's favourite models to be redone in brilliant plastic new sculpts with scenic details derived from enemy forces moulded into the bases in an integral manner.
What a horrible, horrible thing to say.
That's lovely. Thanks, Irex.
So cruel.
Galad's Edge. I'm not quite sure what that refers to, but that's good. There isn't just a Watcher in the water. There's also a Mummock in the Watcher. Which armies do these guys land in? Armies in Middle-earth, presumably, so a later release for them. I think these are all going to be Army and Lord of the Rings, aren't they?
It'll be Armies of Lord of the Rings because it's films. They said the Army of Lord of the Rings is what you see in the films.
Yeah, exactly. I really like the new range rulers, says Casey Box.
They're not new. They're not new.
I think they're the same as the ones in the Hobbit.
10 years old.
Yeah. The Moon Hill thing is Helm's helmet design, so it's him with his riders. Yeah, that's true. War of the Ring profiles will be the War of the Ring book, at least 4 army books. No, that's not what they said, is it? They didn't say...
There won't be a War of the Rohirrim.
They said
the only War of the Rohirrim book, I think, is what you're getting in that, like a scenarios book. I think there'll be... Doesn't it say... I know, it says it on the rules manual, War of the Rohirrim, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure they said that there's going to be 3 releases, and this one must be in the Lord of the Rings.
Said Armies of Lord of the Rings for film Lord of the Rings, Armies of the Hobbit for film Hobbit, and Armies of Middle Earth for things that don't appear in the films.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Helm's helm has 2 prongs on the side that we see in the silhouette in the hill, so I think they're actually Rohan. Sorry. A lot of people said that. Helm's helm. No one there is mounted. Yeah, sorry, I got it wrong. Yeah, I did get it wrong. I'm reading comments.
Keep chastising him. Keep going.
There are some mounted Dunlanding Wildmen in the trailer riding near the Mummocks with Wolf and Tark.
Same movements.
I helped him out. Destro says Battle Camper definitely
I want one of those in.
Oh, that would be good, wouldn't it? Battle Camper definitely in my top 5, likely even top 3. Oh, that's good.
Thank you very much.
Tom W's behind on the stream, but I've got to say, Haleth could be my favourite model. He looks brutal. The axe we did.
It's the one we thought was the worst. See,
well, I think we like the foot models. Didn't we all like the foot model? Just not as much the mounted one.
I just think that's wonderful. This is why I think life is so wonderful that you can. This is fine. You like that, and I like that, and that's all right. That's not
bloody hell.
Yeah, it's all very
sorry, Alex. I'm going to yell at people. I'm so bad at it.
My entire identity revolves around violently disagreeing with people over things that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. So I find this very difficult to contemplate.
I just try and diffuse it all by going, cool.
It's cool. Yeah, cool. Fine. Johnny Apocalypse says, I'm still painting. It's been 2 days. There's not a lot of him, says Sean Clark, but his story is still very cool. Mulching orcs in the night by himself at the sound of his horn. Yeah, and there's a snow troll. Ooh,
there is a snow troll.
There must be a snow troll. Yeah, that is true.
That's cool.
I did remember that. Battlecamp also in the top 5 stream host tonight for me, maybe even top 3. And on that note, we leave it. All right. I think that we covered a lot of ground here. I think I think in all, we're all very excited, aren't we? And I think it's just great to see all of these things in a new box, which we assume will be here for Christmas. It's going to be a wonderful Christmas day, opening bits and bobs and painting these and building these and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait.
I think that's mega. I think that picture is just wonderful and mega, and there's nothing not to like in it. I think.
And it warms my icy heart.
You know what? We haven't mentioned. You get dice as well.
Do you get dice?
12 6-sided dice. What do we think about them being 6-sided? Is that?
I think will help with them landing correctly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I was hoping for 1-sided dice, but we'll see. All right. Well, there you go. Thank you very much, everyone. Particularly to Damien and other for joining us here on the stream tonight.
Thank you for having me, Harry. It's been a delight. It's been a while since I've mooted with you. And,
it has indeed. It has indeed. So yeah.
Thank you for having me. It's been.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, Alex. Thanks. No.
Did you just forget? I don't get a goodbye, do I? The others don't get a goodbye.
In all seriousness, Alex, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for buying extra data just to stay on the stream.
Yeah.
It was a highlight. And thank you to the 2 super chats who sent money for I assume for the data. I will send Alex some pound.
No, you won't.
Do you know what else, Harry? I finished my army for teams tonight. So
brilliant. Look at that. There you go. So if anyone's going to Warhammer World Teams, they'll see Damien there. And if anyone's going to Lord of the Imps, they might see me there. They won't see Alex there because he's not going anymore. But who knows? The next event I might be at is at the GBHL finale, which I definitely recommend going to. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be the last event of this edition, which they just announced the stuff this week for that. So save the date for, I think it was September the No, sorry, December the 13th. I want to say that weekend anyway. Wait, hold on. That's the movie
That's
weekend.
the day the film comes out.
That's going to be awesome. What a weekend for that. What a Lord of the Rings weekend. Oh man. Might go to
They should go if that's on the tournament weekend. There should be like a trip on the Friday.
We should all go on the Friday night. That will be ace.
That sounds fantastic.
I'm going to start working on that. But yeah, and also obviously if there are more announcements, there'll be a combination of people like me and Alex and Damien and others talking about it. So hopefully
others
there. and others. Yeah, indeed. Thanks,
also, Harry. Before you go, we should also say I said this to you last night, but
yes,
good luck. Massive
thank you. Yeah. And there has been no screams from downstairs saying my water's broken, so we've dodged it for another stream. But who knows? It could be tomorrow. I might not be streaming for a few weeks.
Massive congrats, man! Look forward to all the good news.
All right, and Alex, thanks very much, and everyone in the comments. I know a few people are saying thank you and all that sort of stuff. So thank you so much, and we'll call it a night. Cheerio, pip pip. Bye.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.